Looks like we are live. What's up, guys? The Greek is watching from Australia. Nice. Good to have you here. So, by the way, guys, today's opening question as you come in for this is, what has been your outcome when taking dating advice from women? What has been your outcome? We're going to do a little video response for this one. I'm rocking, we got Bud Light seltzers, hard seltzers today, guys. So like I promised, it might get a little wild. What's up, Chad Hart? Who gave me that dislike already? Was that Georgia Free? Is Georgia Free watching this and she gave me the dislike already? What's up, male patriarchy? Says hi, peeps, checking in. Hey, male patriarchy, have you ever taken dating advice from a woman? And if you have, how did it go for you? What's going on, Stoic MGTOW? We got Chad Hart in here with the any dating advice from women equals friend zone. Nathan Hook says, oh yeah. We all have, haven't we? That was my playbook. I used to go to women all the time and ask them. Oh, we got, my outcome was getting friend zone or not even in the race at all. Once I just did my own thing, I was successful with women. Amen. Hey, even though you're a Packer fan there, I got my Vikings beanie on here. Even though you're a Packer fan, I can respect that. Even though we're kind of, football enemies. This is, I don't know, by the way, have you guys heard of Georgia Free, the girl that we're going to do the video on today? Because I think I had seen one of her other videos before I saw this one. But I'd heard of her a little bit. Male patriarchy says no, never take advice from women. Oh, I like this, by the way, guys. This strawberry one. I'm a big fan of strawberries, though. So go, Pack, go! Come on, man. I gotta be focused for this, and now you're getting in my head with the Packer talk. Yeah, yep. What's up, Drora? Yeah, I'm the riot gear. This might be the longest my hair has been since I was a sophomore in high school. We'll just see. We might just let it grow out like a chia pet and just see what happens. If it looks horrible, it'll be a fun little more of a challenge. Women who give dating advice have been ran through. She's unfamiliar, it sounds like, luckily. Mitch Trubisky. We got a Mitch Trubisky fan, huh? The Truth Bisky. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about this. So, I'm going to give Georgia Free a lot of credit on one of her videos she did, which I'll talk about beforehand, because I actually really, I'd be interested in having a lot of your guys with the red pill lens give a look at the video I'm going to recommend, not the one that we're going to go over today. But I thought she did a really good job of covering hypergamy from a female's perspective. So we're gonna get rolling here in 15 seconds. Get right into it. Oh yeah, I want to try this one next. The mango, that looks good. The orange. Okay, let's see here. Let's get our timer out of here. I always forget to knock that off of there. So The video, guys, that we are going to be going over today is this one. We're going to do a little video response to this. And this is her video she just put out recently. It said, men play hard to get at your own risk. So this is the video that we will be going over, and I'm going to give you the heads up. I gave it a thumbs down. And we're going to go into why. I'm going to break it down. But what I wanted to do, though, I want to be fair, guys, because and this is why I think it will be fun for me to break this down, because if she ever sees this, Georgia, if you ever see this, I would like to hear your feedback, because she did this video a year ago. Thoughts on hypergamy as a woman. And I just watched it this morning. And I watched it and I was like, dang, I might need to do a breakdown video on that, but giving her a lot of credit. Because for a woman to understand hypergamy in the way that we always talk about it, I think is really hard. You have to fight against so many of the programs coming at you. You don't want to believe it and all that stuff. But if you guys, I would recommend to check out this video of hers. Just do Georgia Free Hypergamy later on. And I'm going to give her credit. I gave it a thumbs up. In fact, I was actually shocked that 3,000 people gave this a thumbs down. Because, again, if I did a breakdown, yeah, there's probably things I would add to it maybe. But there was nothing that she said or in there that I was like, nah, you're clueless. You don't understand. Like, I thought she broke it down really, really well. So I'm giving her credit with that. And again, guys, you can check that out. But we're going to watch this full video that she did. I'm not going to like cut around or whatever, just to be fair, because I'm going to break down different parts of it. But it's not super long. It's only like 10 minutes. So again, guys, that's her thoughts on hypergamy. Georgia Free, if you ever watch this, I'm seriously giving you credit. That's not an easy concept for women to break down like you did. And I thought it was really interesting to hear it from your point of view. All right, now let's get rolling, guys. We'll do a quick little sound check to make sure you can hear.
Be upfront with women. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. If you want to be in a serious relationship.
All right, so I just want to get a little mic check on you guys. Could you guys hear that fine for her? Our voice difference? And it is a really funny way to start the video.
Be upfront with women. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. If you want to be in...
all right, I'm checking out just to make sure. Let's see, else. Okay. Can you guys hear Divine and Rod? Can you guys hear this fine again? The difference between my voice and hers.
I'm not talking about one-night stands and playing games, but if you want to be in a serious relationship, you should be upfront with your female date and tell her your intention.
I'm just going to assume that you guys can hear it fine. And I'm going to start, I'll throw this up there. Being fair is such a masculine trait. My advice would be to save honor for dealings with men. Good point. Although I'm being fair. I'm talking to a bunch of men. Yeah, but that's so true. Being fair. That's so true. Okay. Let's go back to this. So here's how we're going to start. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. This is how she's going to start it out.
Be upfront with women. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Okay, just to start with there, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. I'm going to just say this. I don't know about you guys, but as men, there is a lot to lose by just going up and telling your feelings to a girl. We all know this, right? Your self-respect, your pride, you can get laughed at, you can be made fun of. Lots of different things that you can lose from doing that. Not only that, but even if it's a girl that you maybe had a shot with and you play it wrong, then you lose that entire experience. So I would say the nothing to lose is an exaggeration. I think all of us men know. We've all tried this before. This is not like some new tactic. Hey, guys, be yourself to women. Have you ever heard that before? Is this brand new to you? So I just want to make that clear. When somebody starts a video out with you have nothing to lose but everything to gain, it's hard for, I'm just going to say, it's probably hard for a lot of men to take the rest of the video all that seriously, simply because we know that that is such a lie, because we've all been told to be upfront with women our whole life, and it never worked. But I have an open mind, and again, I give her a lot of credit on her hypergamy video, so I'm going to hear her out, but that's just a little, shout out for most people, because when you hear that, Be upfront with it. You have nothing to lose, everything in the game. I was already, right when I watched it, I was like, I'm probably going to have to do a response video to this.
If you want to be in a serious relationship, I'm not talking about one night stands and playing games, but if you want to be in a serious relationship, you should be upfront with your female date and tell her your intentions rather than playing hard to get.
Okay, so I am glad, again, to be fair, I'm glad that she did separate if you're looking for a serious relationship rather than the one-night stand hookups, because we all know if you're actually looking to just get a hookup with a girl, you definitely don't want to be up front. So I'm glad that she did clarify the two differences. However, what I think a lot of women don't understand, I think a lot of women have this in their mind that they think that like all guys want to be players and they just want to go around and sleep around with all the different women. But in my experience, every guy I've ever met has started with the intentions of just wanting a really cool girl. He just wanted a girlfriend. He just wanted her. Nobody that I have ever met has ever started this whole dating game and all that stuff going, yeah, you know what, I just want to go around and sleep with every single girl. And I think a lot of women don't realize that, but like me, I was an 18-year-old virgin. I was going to wait till marriage. I was going to save myself till marriage with a woman. I wanted to be the perfect husband. I wanted to be the perfect boyfriend. And I heard this type of whole thing about be yourself, be upfront, tell her how you feel. And so I just want all women to understand this, because again, they have this impaired reality of thinking what men want, because the men that they go for, the ones that are like the players or the bad boys, those guys just play the field. So then they start to assume that all men have that mentality, when in reality, most men I've ever met would rather just have like one really good girl, not do the whole sleeping around thing. However, a lot of guys end up getting fed up, or they learn the game and then they're like, well, screw this. Now they start to do the whole, player status and all that. But very few men ever go into it looking to be a player. So therefore, since most men start out by being like, yeah, I kind of want a girlfriend, every guy has tried this avenue and it just does not work, being up front. So if you're looking for a serious relationship, guys, again, you guys know where I stand on that, but still, no. Being up front, it's just not going to work. But let's continue. Let's give her a chance to talk a little bit here.
I'm going to tell you why. Okay, so we've all heard this scenario. You're a guy, you've just gone on a date with a girl who you're attracted to, you can see yourself getting along in the future with, and you want to spend more time with her, you like spending time with her. So what do you do next? Do you A, play it cool and not give away in any way that you actually are into her, or B, be upfront and actually tell her straight up that you're interested in her?
All right, guys. Let's take a poll here. Let's take her quiz. All right, guys, A or B? Would you, and by the way, I see in the chat, no, I'm not at all endorsing relationships. And I'll get to that in the end, but I'm trying to be fair as I'm discussing this video about, how she's presenting it. Okay, so A, play it cool, guys. She said you go on a date, you're attracted to a girl, you like her. What should you do? Should you A, play it cool, or should you B, tell her you're interested? What would you guys do, A or B? Because I definitely know what I would have done back in the day, and I definitely know what I would do now, and they are different answers. Let's see here. Okay, I would B. I would tell her I'm not it. Or no. Oh no, I would not be. I would definitely not tell her I'm interested.
So this is a video response from a commenter, Lancer DL. Hello Lancer. I loved your comment and it made me want to do a follow-up video, so I'll read your comment out right now.
So guys, when she's going to read this comment, I want you guys to see this before, because she's going to zoom in on the comment, but this is important. Look at this on this top part here. I'm an engineer and have been married 15 years. We got to remember that for the comment that she's going to bring up here. C, MGTOW. Yes, you're right. Much better. But yeah, A, play it cool. I mean, obviously. However, she's saying, be upfront. It's like we know that don't do this. Yeah, my past self chose B and got burned every single time. Okay, so this guy has been married for 15 years. Remember that.
At least part of it. Alexander Grace doesn't think it's attractive for a man to declare his interest to a woman like he did you, and like I did with my girlfriend and now wife.
All right, so remember that, guys. So Alexander Grace, who I have heard of before, and I totally agree with this, it's not attractive for a man to declare his interest to a woman like he did you, and this guy is writing in, remember, and like I did with my girlfriend, now wife. Now remember though, they've been married for 15 years. And we have to take this into account because he says, well, here we go.
I disagree with him on this and feel it's what women want to hear. Did it make you more or less attracted to him? And
there's a lot I have to break down in this. All right, so the first thing is the guy has been married for 15 years, meaning they started dating somewhere, I don't know, a couple years before that, we'd probably assume. So anyway, we're looking around 20 years ago. There's been a huge shift in the entire game of dating in those 20 years, and that is called online dating and social media. So this guy who maybe at the time it worked because he has a wife now and seemingly maybe happy, again, very low percentage chance of that, but 20 years ago, if he gave his interest to a girl, it might have been okay. Again, it would have been the best move for sure. But these days, what we know is guys, women have so many options on social media and online dating that if a guy does reveal his interest too early, then she simply gets rid of him. She has so many more options. So the guy that is bringing this up, again, this is a flawed statistic, even though it's just one guy anyway. It could just be an exception to the rule. But either way, this guy, he's disagreeing with it because he's going, well, I told my now wife that I liked her. I was upfront with her and it worked for me. One, that's an exception to the rule. Two, this was before online dating. Online dating has spiked hypergamy. Like it has changed the game so much, online dating and social media, that it's just not even comparable to 20 years ago when this guy did it. But we also have to remember this, guys. We have to remember this towards the end of the video. But he says, I disagree with him on this and feel it's what women want to hear. Just remember that. We'll tie it in later. And then one last thing here. There's a big difference here. And feel it's what women want to hear. Did it make you more or less attracted to him? Okay, so there's a difference between what a woman wants to hear versus what she is attracted to. There's a big difference between what makes her feel good when she hears it, compliments. Women will always tell you that they want compliments, versus what she is attracted to. The guy that always compliments her, we all know that becomes the simp, the beta mon, friend zone guy. So again, big difference, big discrepancy that has to be pulled apart if you're going to break down something like intersexual dynamics in a fair and logical way.
Referring to how I've spoken about in the past, my boyfriend on our first date, after our first date, just simply said, just so to clear this up, I'm interested in continuing to see you and I'm attracted to you, or something like that. I could probably eventually find the exact text messages. I probably should actually. Anyway guys, you know me, I'm Georgia. I've got a favor to ask you. I recognize a lot of, not just Lancer DL, but I recognize so many of you in the comments by your username. And I happen to know that a lot of you that I recognize and that are watching my videos and commenting aren't actually subscribed. So can you please just check right now, do me a favor, in the bottom left-hand, right-hand corner where I'm pointing, just hit subscribe and then hit the notification bell to make sure you do get notifications. About 1 in every 2 or 3 of my videos are demonetized, which means that YouTube doesn't promote them. And so one way to actually combat this is for you guys to promote them by voting with your subscribe button click.
All right, guys, I told you I'd show you the whole video, so I couldn't just edit out that one little part. I gave her a little shout out, again, like her channel. Again, maybe I'll check out more of her videos. The hypergamy was a good one. It was very interesting. Obviously, my thoughts on this one are definitely different. But I think it's also, we have to understand too, I believe, does anyone know this, by the way? I believe Georgia here is, I think she's 27 or 28, I believe. So again, that also plays a factor. We'll tie into some of this stuff.
Thing. I haven't actually seen the videos from Alexandra Grace on this topic. I couldn't actually find them. If anyone could post them, that would be great. But so this is not a direct reply to Alexandra Grace. I'm just going to give my thoughts on the topic. So the theory is, it's like a commonly held belief that is, if you appear disinterested, if you appear that you're sought after, and thereby kind of imply that you're a popular man, that other women want to be with you, and so, you know, your attention is split. If you appear like that by being disinterested, by not getting back to a woman straight away, by sort of playing it hard to get, like all of that sort of stuff, if you do that, she'll be more attracted to you. That's the idea there. And then
correct, right? So you guys can see, this is why I thought it was interesting to do, is you can see too that she can break things down. Like, that's correct. That is correct. Okay.
The other side, if you do appear like you're super duper keen and that you do kind of start chasing after her, then rather than letting her chase after you, that's kind of telling her that, oh, actually maybe he does have a lot of time on his hands, which means he's not popular among other people, which means I'm less attracted to him. That's the idea there.
Again, true. Everything I would teach. True.
Look, it is kind of basic human psychology. Most people will get sucked into being attracted to or wanting something that appears popular. Just look at the latest toilet paper shortage that we had during coronavirus, you know? But it's even...
Again, correct, true. All that true, supply and demand, whatever, it makes him want it more.
Also important with women to men because of hypergamy, and I'll link my video above explaining all of that. You know, women especially want to have a man who appears popular because that has all of the other good things that might come with it as well.
Okay, so right there, guys, you saw that she linked what we just talked about, that the human psychology is that you want what you can't have. So again, the guy that is not texting her back all the time, the guy that's doing other things, he's focusing on his hobbies, he's focusing on work, he's doing his own stuff, he's going to the gym on his time. The idea is that, again, the harder it is to come by that time, the more valuable it is when he gives her time. So she respects the time more. Again, human psychology, we could all agree with. And then she even points out, she goes, it's even especially true with a woman's hypergamy because women are always looking for the highest status man. So she is linking the things. Like right here, her and I completely agree on this. However, this is, guys, this is again why what you're going to see, and that we all know, is that the logic is just not always there. Like, she has the logic here. Now watch how she ties it together.
So I'm not going to go into that at the moment. So unfortunately, a lot of women will actually get a little bit of a kick or kind of spark of attraction out of a guy who appears super popular by playing hard to get and not, you know, being upfront with a woman and kind of beating around the bushes. That they do get a little bit of more attraction out of that. And a lot of women do, I should say, but...
Okay, guys, now look at that. Now look at that. She's going, okay, so it's true that some women get a spike of attraction when that happens, when he's hard to get and blah, blah, blah. And then she goes, well, okay, a lot of women. And now look at this face. This right here is the face that says, oh man, did I just logically disprove my entire, point of this video? Did I already do that? Shoot, did I just, then I would already have wasted 4 minutes and 16 seconds of this video. So maybe I will find a way to twist around the logic that I just laid out and now make it a little chaotic.
Let's think this through, right? I mean, come on, guys. If you are dating a woman who then...
Okay. Let's think this one through. All right? She goes, let's think this one through. The video cuts off, and now she comes back with her argument that we can see is not going to be based, again, on logic, which she just laid out logic very well. Again, I commend her for that. However,
seemingly just gets attracted to you because of the games that you're playing with her, because you're not getting back to her, because you're beating around the bush and being subtle. If she's getting attracted to you based on that quality, she's not seeing what's truly important.
Okay, agree. We can agree, right? We go, oh, that's silly that women fall for these games type things. That's silly, you know? If she's gonna fall for those, then, she's not falling for the right things. And again, correct, true. That's what a lot of guys go, yeah, we get it. And, but women's attraction does not respond to logic. So logically we're like, yeah, she shouldn't like a guy just for that. Logically, girls go, well, I shouldn't like a guy for that. But again, women don't follow that logic when they are selecting men, or else they wouldn't continually go back to the bad boys or the guys that they know are not good future long-term prospects for the idea of a family or whatever, if that's what a woman wants.
Not seeing you and your more salient qualities, which are the qualities that are going to make the relationship last anyway between you. She isn't getting attracted to you based on qualities that will last. Women who are truly...
Yes, I know. We know this. Us guys know this. This is why we sit back and laugh. We're like, we can sit here from an armchair quarterback and be like, okay, between those two guys, all of us guys could logically be like, yeah, she should definitely go for that guy. That guy's going to be the better long-term. But we all know, we sit back and we laugh, we go, but she's going to go for Chad and Tyrone. We just know it. So we sit back and we laugh. And this is why so many guys are sitting on the sidelines. And this is why, you guys in the chat, that I do not promote relationships. But again, this is where guys are just like, okay, we see why it doesn't make sense. And that is why we are not participating in that arena. Because we see the logic and we see the lack of logic, and we're like, it doesn't make sense.
Like that, if that's how they are getting attracted to someone, and they're letting that let themselves get caught up in that, rather than looking through the BS and just figuring out who you are. Those sort of women, they're the people you don't want to... Did I just say women's? Those sort of women, they're the people that you don't want to date. You should be thinking twice about dating them in the first place.
Again, which is why so many guys... This is exactly why so many guys go, yeah. Well, those are not the type of women I want to date. However, when I look around, those are the only women that are out there to date because, again, hypergamy. Again, the social influence that women have. So that is the whole point. That's why us guys are like, yeah, we get that doesn't make sense, which is why we're logically not participating in that whole game. Exactly why, because of what she's breaking down here.
I really think that the woman...
Oh, okay. Hey, the next title we're going to have here is... Don't date these types of women. Remember, guys, don't date those types of women. The ones that fall into their biological hypergamy. Don't date those type of women. However, right, we all know that all women are going to fall into that hypergamy. That's going to be a part of them. So what type of women would you date then? The question many guys are asking.
Dating is only going to go on further dates with you by you appearing exclusive and hard to get. I mean, to me, that's a red flag for the woman, from my point of view. When all the mystery is gone and when she sees who you truly are, is she then going to stick around? Because let's be real, you can't play this game forever in a relationship. Actually, in fact, the point I'm trying to make here is that you never should if you actually want to have a relationship that lasts.
Okay, there it is, guys. There it is. Okay, so... she talks about how, all right, it's a red flag if a girl is going to be disinterested in you because you don't put up mystery. You don't play this game, which we all know, right? Every guy knows because we've tried. We've tried the other way. We've tried to be up front, and it just doesn't work. So by her logic, then, every guy should go, well, every woman then is a red flag because she's not going to stay interested if I am up front in the way that she's telling me that. Then she even goes, and plus, why would you definitely don't want that type of woman because you cannot possibly keep that game up the entire relationship. Which, again, is why the guys that have sat down and have put the logic down on paper and they have really ran through it and they've dug through. The more you research, the more you dig in, you land on the philosophy basically that there's really no way to play it in today's society because of everything going on. There's no smart way for a man to actually play it if you're going to try to commit to something like that. Again, when guys have dug through all the logic, then they see that this is the point. And we all know this. All the guys that know this, there could be guys that argue against this. They could argue a point or two. But if we sat down and talked it through logically, we could come to this conclusion that, yeah, guys, it's basically impossible to keep her happy in today's society, today's culture, with everything bombarded at her. And I think Georgia will understand this because, well, sort of in a sense, like logically, I think she'll understand this in that sense because she does understand hypergamy. From at least a year ago, she understood it when she sat down and like laid it all out. But again, that is why the guys that have laid it all out and then they go and they're like, wait a second. Yeah, I understand what works, but it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable long term. So again, that's why most guys go, well, I don't want to commit to anything long term. It's not sustainable.
Think about it like this. If a woman is going to reject you because she's just not into you from the get-go, no matter what, she's going to reject you no matter what you say, whether you're upfront or play games, okay? Easy. Done. Right, let's say that a woman is interested in you. Be upfront with her.
Wait a second. Hold on.
You truly are, is she then going to stick around? Because let's be real, you can't play this game forever in a relationship. Actually, in fact, the point I'm trying to make here is that you never should if you actually want to have a relationship that lasts. So think about it like this. If a woman is going to reject you because she's just not into you from the get-go, no matter what, she's going to reject you no matter what you say, whether you're upfront or play games, okay?
That right there is a complete lie. She will reject you if you are upfront or if you play games, right? Her logic is saying, all right, if a girl's going to reject you, whether you're upfront or you play games, then again, right, there's nothing to lose. You may as well be upfront. But here I am sitting here going, that's a lie, because I have sat here, done so many experiments to entertain myself, and I could go, I have the exact same online dating pictures, the exact same profile, and I go, I'm going to play it like a simp. And I'm going to message her in that way. Boom, ghosted, nothing. Okay, versus me going, I'm going to play games and know how it's done. Boom, it works. Okay, I've done this so many different times. I've experimented in so many different ways to figure out what is going to work. And there's a huge difference, because if my online dating pictures are exactly the same and a girl matches with me, and the way that I play it, either I play games or I am up front with her. Hey, you're really cute. I think we should go on a date. And I play it that way, and I test it out, and I just kind of see where it goes. Every single time playing games works. Every single time. Every single time. In fact, the only times being up front with a woman would work is if you are deemed as high enough status that she basically just is okay with a guy revealing his feelings. She's still like interested enough with the rest of the part. So maybe if Leonardo DiCaprio was like, hey, you know what, Georgia? I'm pretty into you. And you're like, dang, Leonardo DiCaprio, he's such a player. Only on those very rare circumstances would him going, hey, I'm going to tell you how I feel, I'm going to be upfront, would that maybe work? Only in those super rare experiences. But any guy, any normal guy that plays it up front versus reserved and keeping his status and playing like the masculine game, any average guy, he's done with in today's world because of social media, because of online dating, because of frat parties, because of all the ways that women can meet a bunch of men. They're just not attracted to that. They've experienced too many men that now any guy that gives them the boring vibes, they're done with, period. So she will reject you if you're upfront or play games. Totally untrue. Now, if you are going to be, if you are, how do I say it? Maybe the 350-pound guy that has zero social skills, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it has zero of, you're right. She'll reject you either way, but that's simply because she wouldn't have given that guy a chance either way. But if you meet the threshold and she's like, I'll give this guy a chance. If you play games versus if you're straightforward, every single time playing games is the better strategy. Every single time.
Easy. Done. Right, let's say that a woman is interested in you. Be upfront with her, because then at least you know that her attraction to you and desire to want to be with you is based on real things and not based on because you were buffing up your, sense of popularity and being sought after. So by being upfront, you might...
All right, so... All right, again. Basically, she's sugarcoating. Georgia, you're better than this, by the way. You have the logic. I've seen it in the hypergamy video. You're better than this. Okay. Basically, she's just sugarcoating. You just got to be yourself. Like we've heard a million other times from the women that just want you to be yourself and reveal your feelings so then they know exactly where you stand. Then it makes them feel comfortable because they're in control. So again, that's why it's not attractive, but maybe she wants to hear it just because she knows where she stands in, but it's not attractive. Now, we have to listen to this last 6 seconds or so again.
Not based on because you were buffing up your, sense of popularity and being sought after. So by being...
Okay, so again, she's saying don't play games, guys. Don't play games because then you're never going to know if she was just into you because of the buffed up games you were playing or if she was into you for your personality. And let's actually just think about a peacock in this sense. Like literally the way that the male peacocks get attention. They flash their feathers. They have this big show of the peacocks. Okay? That is nothing to do with the peacock's personality. I know that I'm relating, I guess, peacocks and humans, which might not be the best in that sense. But if you're saying that a man shouldn't buff himself up, which we all know that women are only attracted to men with high status, okay? So if a man shouldn't play it smart, if he shouldn't play it mysterious, if he shouldn't play it keep his status up, if he should just reveal all of his feelings, then if you're saying guys shouldn't buff him up because you know what, then the woman's not going to love him for who he is, then can we take the same logic? Never buff yourself up. Can we say that women should never wear makeup and women should never ever put a filter picture up on their Instagram, on their online dating profile? Because can't we agree that if a woman wakes up in the morning with no makeup on, right, that's her, okay? So can't we agree that a woman should not buff herself up either? You don't want a man to fall for you because of your makeup. He was attracted to you because of your makeup and all that, right? You want him to be attracted to you just for who you are. So giving this advice to men that status, don't play games, don't try to raise your status in that sense, right? Just be yourself, be upfront, tell her how you feel. That would be the equivalent of guys just going, yeah, ladies, stop wearing makeup, okay? Don't wear any makeup at all and don't take a single filtered picture. And just say, boom, do that, all right? Would women ever accept that? No, because they understand what men are attracted to and then they play that up with their features, right? Men are more attracted to that youthful and beauty and stuff like that. And all the things that women do, all the certain color of lipstick, like there's so much psychology around this about certain ways to get guys to notice them. All right, so if you want to claim, guys, just be yourself, don't play games, don't buff yourself up, then we'd like to see online dating profiles where women are completely natural, haven't worn anything of makeup and not a single filter. So guys can get to know that part of her too, straight up. All right, I just saw a little super chat here from Nico Greco. Nico Greco says, thank you, man. He says, Prince is 20 times wiser than Dr. Phil. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Good old Dr. Phil. Yeah, well, when you're on any type of mainstream television, you got to play by the agendas, even if you know better or not. So mainstream can never be trusted. I think we all know that here. All right, let's see. Where are we at here?
Up front, you might actually dodge a bullet because you're going to luckily dodge the women who are only going to be attracted to you because you're playing that game. And you don't want to be with those sorts of women. As we discussed before, they're not looking at you for the right reasons, the reasons that will actually last. I mean, if you...
Now, this one is a warning. This one is huge. This one, I want to take note of for every guy to hear and understand. So important. I can't even talk until I open up my mango hard seltzer here. Okay. Hey, what's up, Chad Tyrone? Cool name. Yeah, welcome, man. All right, so this next one is important. In fact, since I just distracted you guys with opening my, new drink and all that, I want to replay this a little bit because guys have to hear this because this could be the difference between a life of misery and not. And it's actually opposite of what her logic is here.
Dodge the women who are only going to be attracted to you because you're playing that game. And you don't want to be with those sorts of women. As we discussed before, they're not looking at you for the right reasons, the reasons that will actually last.
Okay, so that right there. So she's saying, be straight up about your intentions. If you want marriage, you want a long-term commitment, you need to be straight up. Because if you don't, what you might do is you might waste your time on the wrong type of women that aren't into the commitment or the long-term marriage or family type idea, right? So she's saying it. And again, this is why this is so important. I have this labeled in the background of the chameleon act, right? This is what so many guys have to be wary of because I think about it completely opposite. I think about it in this way, all right? If you are a guy that says straight up, hey, I'm looking for marriage, I'm looking for a family, I want a girl that's ready for commitment, okay? To me, I would say that's a horrible idea for guys to do because what you might do is you might actually attract the wrong women. The chameleons, you're going to attract the type of women that maybe they have been on the dating scene for a while. They've been on the CC as we call it. And now they're ready to settle down like we see from all the single mothers that are 30 years old on online dating. So the women that are fine, they're ready. They know that biological clock is ticking. They have that race against time. Okay. Those women, if they go on a date with a guy and the guy leads it off by, hey, by the way, I want to just let you know up front to not waste each other's time. I'm looking for something serious. I'm looking for long-term. I'm looking for something like marriage. Okay. That girl, if that's what she's looking for and she's not been able to find any guy that will commit to her, probably for good reasons, guys are not committing to her, red flags and all that stuff. She hears this guy might be willing to commit. So now you get a woman that could put on a chameleon act because what happens is in her eyes, this guy's attraction maybe is raised. She thinks she likes this guy more because she's like, oh, this is one of the few guys that's actually willing to commit and settle down with me. And oh, shoot, the wall's going to hit soon, blah, blah, blah. I better hurry up and latch on. So what, to me, a woman would be more likely to use that knowledge and fall in love with the idea of marriage, fall in love with the idea of a husband, fall in love with the idea of a wedding, which we know all women like the idea of that, but in reality, it doesn't play out that way. So what that will do is that will just be like, you're just like a dead carcass and you're just advertising yourself to potential vultures that, hey, by the way, I'm ready to commit. So now those girls are going to play it differently than they would. They're not going to show the true colors they might have if that guy never brought up anything about his intentions. He never brought up anything about how he felt and all that. He would see more of what the real life version of her would be if he didn't put any labels on that. And you know what? Maybe a fair example of that would be, okay, let's say Georgia Free here. Let's just say that Georgia was going to go on a date with me, okay? She was going to go on a date with me. And on one hand, I was the guy that was the school teacher. The public school teacher, I'm looking for something serious, looking for a relationship, blah, 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 okay? I'm the same exact guy, right? I was that guy before, and now this is me, right? So if I took that profile, hey, I'm the public school teacher, I'm looking for something serious, looking for a family, blah, blah, blah. And I went on a date with Georgia Free, okay? And on the opposite end, Georgia Free and I went on a date and she knew I was Adam from Texting Prince. She knew that I was a player. She knew that I had all these, games up my sleeve or whatever, or that I've obviously had experience with women. The way that she would play that on that date would be differently, because if she thought that I was a guy that was looking for marriage, on that first night, she might not go home and sleep with me But if she didn't know that I had any expectations and we went on that date and she saw me as, oh, you're Adam from Texting Prince, she might just be like, oh, dang, all right, maybe we're having fun. Maybe I'll go back to this place and just see what happens because maybe I won't get another chance with him. So she would treat me differently based on what I put out in front. So if I was actually looking for a serious relationship, I would definitely not want to put that out there on the table because I know that she's going to behave differently. And then I might go, oh, dang, maybe she really is relationship material because that's the mold she's performing for me at that specific time. So I would tell guys, never do that. Don't reveal your cards like that because as most guys know, the more you reveal, the more ammo she has to use against you. And it's kind of sad to say it like that, but it's the truth. So definitely, that's got to be very, very careful for a lot of guys. I know so many guys that still, you guys know it. There's so many guys out there that it doesn't matter how many videos they see, they can still go, hey, I still think I want marriage or I want the family at some point in my life, right? There's so many guys that can look at it, but we just know this, right? So it's very dangerous for a guy then to hear this from a girl's perspective going, just be straight up. Tell her that's what you want. You'll weed out the girls you don't want, but you'll only get the girls in your life that are the good, genuine women that you want. And it's like, no, that's not true. That's probably how a lot of divorces happen. And I'm not saying that women in that situation go in going, well, I'm just going to get with this guy so I can get the wedding and then I'm going to divorce him. No, of course not. But women will trick themselves into the idea of, yeah, maybe I do like this guy more because she knows in the back of her mind, he might actually commit to her. So then she's like putting on more of this act. Does she really like this guy? Not really, but he could be a future husband, all that. She literally changes. She gives him like more like, normally I wouldn't be attracted to that, but this guy might be my future husband, right? So she doesn't actually see clearly, and she doesn't actually see if she's actually attracted to that guy. All that other stuff gunks it up, and then you get these people that marry, and then all of a sudden we say the bait and switch. You get married, and then the woman that you thought you were dating is different because you went in telling her exactly what you were looking for and a wife and all that stuff. She puts that in her mind, and she's like, okay. Oh, he likes a guy that can cook. Well, hey, did you know that maybe she cooked you this really nice meal and said, hey, I know how to cook, but she only learned how to cook one meal specifically because she knew that you were looking for somebody that was willing to cook. And maybe she had every intention in the back of her mind, like, well, if he did marry me and I'd be a good wife and I'd cook for him, maybe she had those intentions. But again, the reality is once she gets the ring, once you guys commit, then she starts to go, well, shoot, I'm not interested in that. Oh, I don't like how he's playing it. I don't like how he's revealing all of his feelings to me. So she has no motivation to be like, well, I want to spoil him. I want to learn to cook for him. I want to do all this stuff. Again, the reality is different. I'm not saying women go into it with the idea to trick, but if you lead with that, you're going to potentially attract a lot of the wrong women. And the difference is, if you go in and you don't give your feelings, maybe you attract certain women that never wanted something serious, in which case for me, right? Great. But in that case, right, all you did is wasted a little bit of time. The worst mistake you can make is actually getting a woman to buy in and you think she's something that she's not because she's putting on an act to be the wife she's auditioning for. And then you marry her and it's not the wife that she was, auditioning as. It was just the idea, and now things are different. That is much more devastating because that can literally ruin a guy's life. That can send his life off the deep end versus the other one, maybe you waste a little bit of time. Big deal. So again, I will tell you guys all, you guys know that I'm not anyone that talks about especially marriage, but if anything, err on the side of don't tell her those future plans because then you'll get to see more of the real her. Transformers, Decepticons. Yeah, Matt Chandra, I see that too. That's funny. Okay, wait. I think I saw something pop. Yeah, all right. Hey, Chad and Tyrone. We got Chad and Tyrone. Super chat from Chad and Tyrone. Thank you, my man. He says, shout out to Red Pill Brothers. Never invest in women. They will ruin your life. Invest in yourself. You can trust yourself. You can trust yourself. You can't trust anyone else. Now, I guess I could trust like my family and stuff like that. So maybe there's a certain ones, but trust or invest in yourself. Do not invest in women. Exactly what he said. Wonderfully Wonderfully said there. This is the best way to stop getting good and frequent sex is to get married. Absolutely. I could tell you guys some stories already of things I'm seeing right now of just people that have just moved in now with a girlfriend. And it's totally different. Don't even hear them from them anymore. Been a few weeks. It's like, wow, that was quick. That was quick. That was already quick. Not engaged, not married or anything. Moved in together. Wow, where did the guy go? Where's Waldo? He's gone. He disappeared. All right, what do we got here? We're at 6:23. I gotta get refocused, man.
Play a game, you can expect a game in return, and can you really be upset if things fall apart? I think you've got no one to blame but yourself. On top of that, if you do play games and you're not being upfront and you beat around the bushes and play hard to get, you've got to lose the women that you truly want to be with, because they're going to see through that straight away and they're not going to appreciate you doing that.
That's a lie. All right, so she said that you will lose out on the quality women. We could have a whole debate in our own, guys. We know that about the whole idea of the quality women, but just the idea that if you're just like, well, maybe you're a player out there and you keep playing the way you do, you're gonna lose out on the actual quality women. Well, you guys probably, or not everyone, but when we did that whole story about the 3 lessons I learned as a simp, like Jordan was that girl for me. You'll lose out on the quality women if you play. I played it differently with her, then I lost out on her because I played it differently. So that's a total lie. If anything, there are, and I can say, and again, I can't verify any of these 3 women were unicorns, all right? But I can say in all the women that I have, and I've been with one of these 3 women. The other 2 were saving themselves for marriage, which again was a big unicorn, basically, I guess flag if you were going to say it. But out of all the women I've dated, I can look back and count back of 3 women that I think, and again, it's not a guarantee. 2 of those 3, again, the 2 that didn't sleep around or whatnot, or wouldn't sleep around, one of them has 2 children already and is now pregnant with twins, and she's under 27 years old. The other one has 2 children right now, and she's under 20. She might be 28 now, 28 years old. And then the other one has a child, and she's now pregnant with her second child, and she's 25 right now. Those 3 women that I look back at, I had these women that I had chances with, like these were like good girls or whatever, and like, yeah, she was attracted to me because of the way I was playing it. But those women ended up being firm about like, hey, you know what? I'm actually saving myself for my future husband. And, if you're not ready for that, that's okay. But I had the chance because I was playing it cool versus telling my feelings. There were so many girls, growing up that I would tell my feelings to. No chance at all. So I had my chance with these good girls, and then they basically waited around as long as possible before they finally understood, like, okay, Adam is not going to settle down with me right now. But those women, I didn't lose out on. I had plenty of chances. And then I realized, I was like, no, I just don't, I want to be single. I'm not ready for that. And I recognized that they were actually pretty quality women. Again, 2 of the 3 wouldn't sleep. One of them I slept with, sundress girl, man. Great girl. I don't know how these marriages are going to play out. But as far as you'll lose out on the quality women, it's like I had a shot with them because of the way I played it, because I wasn't up front. And then I chose not to. But that's different than her trying to do the scare tactic of, hey, if it's a girl you really like, you better tell her how you feel or she'll move on. It's like, no, we know women. They do not move on. The guys that they can't figure out, they think about forever. Those are the guys. She always goes back with the ex-boyfriend that could really, really just pile drive her and just give it to her, right? There's all these little things about that that are just lies when you actually like lay it down and look at it. So you'll lose out on the quality women. Nope. Again, you would play it the same way, and then at a certain point you would go, okay, I think she's a quality woman. We know where I stand on that, guys. I don't think there's any safe way to get married in this environment we're in right now. But again, either way, the idea is that being upfront would not be a good way to play it.
And these are the genuine women you want to be with. They're not stupid. These are the ones you want, okay? So you're like selectively going to rule all them out because they're going to be like, what are you doing? Just be real with them, because that way you can get to the gems that you want to and sort through all of the other rubbish that are just going to be attracted to some sort of game you're playing.
What this sounds like to me, what this really sounds like to me is a girl's online dating profile after she has a kid and she's 30 years old, which again, I know, and Georgia has a boyfriend now. So, hey, I wish her all the luck. I really do. But what this sounds like to me is that she's speaking right now from like, well, now I'm ready to settle down. Now I'm ready because she's, approaching her late 20s. Now I'm ready for something serious. But when you say you'll lose out on the quality women, it's like, Georgia, let me ask you something. If you were to be honest, when you, and again, in her hypergamy video, she recognized that her peak value is basically 21 years old. Okay? So if you look back on your 21-year-old self, Georgia, okay, if a guy was straight up with you, if a guy told you how he felt, that's what's his game plan, guess what you did to him? You friend zoned him. He's nowhere to be seen now because guys did do that to you, but you weren't ready. And the whole point of what a lot of guys are saying is that the frustration, and again, we understand the game right now. We kind of understand the temptations that women would have of sleeping around, being on the CC. But guys are going, hey, don't try to use your prime, like Georgia would admit, when she was 21, she was like in her prime, right? Don't use your prime to sleep around, date around, because you're not ready for the guy that would be straight up and be like, hey, I'm ready for commitment. Because there were plenty of guys in her life at the time that did do that, and she doesn't remember them because her hypergamy just rooted them out. Like, nope, that was too easy. Nah, moving on, right? So that when she says it like this, it's like when we're sitting here going, okay, no. If you're going to use your best years to date around because that's not what you look for, and then now you're trying to tell us when you're ready to settle down that we should be doing these things and we should be settling down with you, that's where guys just laugh and we're like, nah, I'm good. You're going to try to catch me when you're losing out on your prime, when a guy's about to hit on his prime, and like when the guys wake up to it, we're like, nah, I'm good. So when you say you lose out on quality women, Georgia, if you consider yourself a quality woman, every guy that played it straight up with you lost out on you because that's what he did. So if you define yourself as a quality woman, you got to see the discrepancies in what you're saying, because what would work on you now as a 27-year-old would not have worked on you when you were a 21-year-old, which we know and what you admitted was your peak.
You don't want that. Well, maybe you do, and if you do, good for you, right? The right woman for you is not someone who's going to be attracted to you based on buffing yourself up. They're going to be attracted to you based on who you are, and they're not going to appreciate it when you play games, and they might actually reject you if you do that, because they're going
She didn't believe that at all. And they might actually reject you if you play games. She did not believe that at all. She knows as well as any of us. If you play games, those are the only guys that women don't reject, right? All the guys that make it too easy, she rejects immediately. All the guys on online dating that are too easy, she's like, I'm done with. It's the guys that don't reply back to her. It's the guys that reply short to her that she literally goes in there and she goes, why did he not give me the full answer? Why did he not confess his love to me like all the other guys? Those are the only guys that she's interested in. It's literally the opposite of what she's telling us guys here. And guys, we're going to leave it off with something real good here about what we're... Again, I'm giving her credit for her hypergamy video. I don't expect women to understand this stuff. I really don't. To really sort it out and all that stuff. But
I think, well, if you're going to do that now, what are you going to be like for the rest of the relationship? Can I ever trust you? We always play games. They just want to see you plainly and clearly, and that in itself is attractive. It's also really attractive when a man puts himself in the firing line by admitting that he's, into a woman. That is attractive because it shows courage, okay? To be honest, people who play games, a part of it is a little bit of cowardice, not wanting to get hurt, not wanting to get a direct rejection, and just, pretending like you weren't interested in anyway. There's always an element of that, and like, smart women know, like smart people know what human psychology.
I might have to replay. I'm gonna have to replay that part back. We gotta hear it again. There's so much I want to break down in it.
Cowardice, you know.
Oh man, even before that.
In itself is attractive. To be attracted to you based on buffing yourself up. They're going to be attracted to you based on who you are, and they're not.
Oh, again, if they're attracted to you for who you are, then again, that's just another shout out to women. Don't wear any makeup or don't ever put filters on, and don't ever, take any angle pictures. Just be straight up, right? Because this is the genius advice that us men get. Be straight up. Just be completely. Don't show up to your interview for the job and wear your street clothes. Don't try to impress them at all, because you know what? You're being inauthentic if you show up for a job interview wearing, a nice suit and tie, or you show up in dressed up clothes when normally you wouldn't do that. Don't do that, because you're being inauthentic, and you wouldn't want your bosses to hire somebody that is putting on a show, would you?
Going to appreciate it when you play games, and they might actually reject you if you do that, because they're going to think, well, if you're going to do that now, what are you going to be like for the rest of the relationship? Can I ever trust you? We always play games. They just want to see you plainly and clearly, and that in itself is attractive.
No, it's not. That's a lie. Watch her convince herself that a guy telling her how she feels or how he feels is courageous. Watch her convince herself. Just look in her eyes, guys. Look in her face.
Really attractive when a man puts himself in the firing line by admitting that he's into a woman. That is attractive because it shows courage. Okay, to be honest, people who play games, a part of it is a little bit of cowardice, not wanting to get hurt, not wanting to get a direct rejection, and just pretending like you weren't interested in anyway. There's always an element of that, and smart women know, smart people know what.
The shame. Georgia, you're better than that. The shame. Come on. The shame back onto the plantation. The shame when all else doesn't work. We saw, 4 minutes and 20 420. Shout out to that. 4 minutes and 20 seconds in, when she basically had to stop herself and go, let's think about it, because she was actually arguing logic, and she was already combating what her entire video was about. And she was going to win with her combating logic. So she's like, wait, hold on. Let's think about this. And then she changed it up. She changed it up and used these other tactics. And she finished with the shaming. Hey, you guys, are you courageous or are you a coward? Because the courageous men, they are the ones that they just tell her that they like her and they're not scared, right? All the guys that play games, all the guys that don't tell her how she feels, that don't text her back right away, all those guys are cowards. It's not that those guys are smart enough to realize that doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity. It's not that those guys understand that they've tried the whole tell her how you feel a million times and it never worked and they finally realize something. It's not that at all. It's just that they are cowards. They're cowards for not telling her how you feel. Now, I would argue virtually the opposite. In my opinion, it takes a more courageous man to not tell her how he feels, to wait it out, to not sit there. Because to me, a guy that goes on one date with you and he says, hey, by the way, I want to let you know that I like you, and I want to know if you're looking at this the same way. That guy, to me, is not courageous. That guy is looking for validation. That guy is unsure because he can't read your body language. He can't understand by the way you're texting him whether you like him or not. So it's not courageous. That's a lie. It's actually cowardice, because he's scared that you don't like him. He's not sure of himself. If he was sure of himself, he would just go about his day and he'd be like, yeah, she's into me. No. He's going, well, shoot, I had a fun time. Maybe I better text her and be like, hey, I like you. He's doing that because he's scared if he doesn't do that, you'll leave. He's scared because he's heard videos like yours where you're like, if you play games, quality women will leave you. He's doing it out of being scared. He's not doing it out of being courageous. And that's why, okay, I got to remember, we're at 8:02, so I'll come back to this part. But that's why I brought up at the very beginning, right here. Let's read this. Okay? That guy, the married guy said, Alexander Grace doesn't think it's attractive for a man to declare his interest to a woman like he did you. Again, I agree. It's not attractive. And like I did with my girlfriend, now wife. Okay? I disagree with him on this and feel it's what women want to hear. He feels it's what women want to hear. So when we go back to 802, okay, and you say that a guy that tells you how he feels is courageous, no, he's scared. He's doing it because he thinks that's what you want to hear. He's doing it because in the movies, they say, well, shoot, you had a chance with her, but you didn't express your feelings. You didn't tell her how she feels, so she realized she had to move on to the romantic guy that wasn't afraid to wear his emotions on his sleeve. And it's like, that's a big bunch of baloney BS. So using the courageous versus coward is literally, in my mind, completely flipped. The courageous guys go, I don't need to do a thing. She likes me. And if she doesn't like me, I don't care because I know I'm a cool guy and she would be lucky to have me. So a guy that's courageous doesn't check in with her. A guy that's scared goes, do you like me? Do you like me? Are you looking for the same things as I do? I don't want to get my heart broken again. So again, I just got to say, to me, it's backwards. It's actually reverse of what she's saying here. But again, it's important to point this out because we can get sucked into doing this, especially if a girl like Georgia Free does this hypergamy video a year ago that I go, dang, that's a pretty dang good hypergamy video. So guys that go, I've heard about a hypergamy, and she just explained it exactly like I heard it. This is why you guys got to be careful of the female chameleon advice givers. This is why I had to do a video on this one, because it's more important to break apart what I think is bad advice than to just do her hypergamy video and be like, yeah, this is pretty good, right? So that's what you got to be careful of, is she might be setting herself up. Is this person that you can listen to for advice from women? She sucks you in with the great hypergamy logic, but then she throws this at you, and that's going to confuse a guy.
What human psychology. And of course, I'm not saying, like, when I say be direct and straightforward, I'm not saying grovel at her knees and be desperate. I'm saying it's just plain and simple. Hey, like, I like spending time with you, want to keep doing it. And she's going to respond really well to that. And if she doesn't, good. You've probably figured out she's not for you. She's not going to be easy to deal with, and she's probably got some personality problems. My own...
All right. Let's take her logic, guys. Okay. I mean, it would be fun to do a poll here, right? How many guys have told a girl exactly how they feel, exactly what they're looking for? Okay. How many guys have done that and the girl ghosted? Oh, you're a really nice guy. Oh, it's just not what I'm looking for right now. Oh, you'd make a great boyfriend, just not for me, right? How many guys have tried this, heard something like that? And if any guy tried this over and over and over again, guess what? He's going to have the same result. It's not going to work. These girls are going to ghost because of the other options they have these days. Or actually, I should say, the illusion of options. Because a lot of these women that go around and sleep with these guys, they have the illusion of believing that those guys would actually commit to them. That's not always the case for sure. So again, it's the illusion. They have the illusion of all these other choices. So when a guy is up front, it doesn't work. So if a guy is to take your logic and he's to say, okay, I'm going to be up front with every girl that I meet, and all the ones that are not cool with that, they had red flags anyway. Well, guess what? Most guys have tried that, and so most guys sit back and they go, okay, by your logic, I'll just take your word for it. Every time I've tried that, the girl has not responded well. That means every girl I've ever tried has had a red flag. This is why most guys get to the conclusion that maybe not all women are like that, but most women are like that. So either way you go about it, guys come to the same conclusion. One, either it doesn't work, or two, every girl has a red flag then, because what you're saying should work doesn't work. So they're all red flags. And again, Georgia, you got to be honest here. Any guy that was upfront and honest with you early in your days, your early 20s, are you saying that you were a red flag at that time? Or would you be the same girl? Do you still think you could have made a good wife, right? So you got to understand the perspectives here and what guys are hearing, what guys have tried. Yeah, it just doesn't work. So the logic is just, to me, not lining up right now.
Personal view is that when my boyfriend was, well, back when we were dating, upfront with me, I'll send you screenshots of his messages with his permission.
Look at this bottom, guys. Read down here. Sorry, didn't do this too personal. Now, again, I don't like to rag on guys. I don't know this guy. However, my guess is this guy understands she has a channel. He's probably seen her videos and he's probably read comments where guys are saying stuff like, that wouldn't work. Guys like that would do that would be simps and all that stuff. I guarantee the reason this is too personal is because he knows if you put up the text messages and you were like, yes, this is how you should do it, guys. He knows that if you showed them, so many guys would look at it and be like, simp. Oh, I can't believe he did that. Blah, blah, blah. Boom, boom, boom. He would get, that's why he's afraid to show it, right? I would show you my text messages of me revealing my interest to a girl because it doesn't happen. Or I do it so subtly or whatever. I'm not afraid to show it because I'm not afraid to look like a simp. He's afraid to show it for a reason. So again, that's telling us it's like, oh, okay, guys, do what he says, except we don't know exactly what he did to do this. Now, here's one other piece of this. You know what? Actually, I'll get to it at 9:45.
I can find them. But basically, the response that it got from me was that I appreciated him. He put himself in the firing line. It showed courage. It showed that he just knew what he wanted and was just going to go for it no matter what.
Showed courage. Nah.
It showed that he wasn't playing games, which meant that he's level-headed just like me. It made me feel secure, which was good.
It showed he's not playing games. It means he's level-headed like me. And you could see when she said it, she was like, oh, I'm sick of all the guys that played games. Again, this is why I went back to that part about the chameleon. Be careful, guys, because the women that go, oh, this guy's actually going to be one of those few guys that is still like super excited to get married. Because, right, you guys know red pill and MGTOW is spreading. You guys might, it's spreading. I can tell from girls I talk to, and I can tell from just guys I talk to. Maybe it's not spreading as fast as everyone would like, but it's spreading. So she hears, all right, she's used to all these guys that are like, yeah, I'm not looking for anything serious. I'm just looking to, let's just have some fun and see what happens. She's used to all of those guys. So again, when a guy comes in firing with, hey, I really like you and I'm looking for something serious, what she does is she goes, ooh, all right, even though he texted me too quickly and I would be bored of him normally, he's one of very few guys that are actually willing to commit. So again, it gives her the illusion of what she likes in this guy more than the actual guy, which means once he gives her what she was hoping for, the commitment, she's going to start see that guy for exactly who he is, and then she's going to pick apart the things that she doesn't like him. Now, again, I can't say every girl will do this. Georgia is more aware than most women, at least in the fact that she knows hypergamy. So, again, maybe you could say there could be like that, it could potentially work, but if you look at, and I'm not saying it will, but if you look at 99.9% of the women that are not going to be even self-aware or have any idea what hypergamy is or not want to hear any of this stuff, not understand their own biological attraction and how, oh, maybe, he's doing this, maybe I didn't feel attracted, and she can like self-reason herself to like appreciate what he's doing versus let her hypergamy overrule her, okay? It's going to be so few of those women at all that are even self-aware enough to know that the pickings are just so incredibly thin. And then of the ones that are thin, we don't know which ones were legit and which ones were the chameleons that just like the idea of the marriage or like the idea of the commitment part. Oh, yeah, here we go. Let's see here. We got a super chat in here from Travis Morrison Mikkel. This is two new guys I haven't seen today with Chad and Tyrone here. Travis Morrison McKell, thank you, man. He says, does she believe her own lies? Why would she make this video with bad advice? What's her motivation? Confusing. Okay, this is where, and again, I might have a different opinion than other guys because I'm an optimist. I believe that she's trying to give moral or good advice. She's like, but you got to understand what mind frame she's in right now. She's in that mind frame where she wants to settle down. She's been ready to settle down. She did a video before this about, she took like Ben Shapiro's advice about trying, dating. So she's in that mode where she's looking to settle down. So you got to put her in the mode of the 30-year-old, the single mom on online dating, where they go, hey, I don't want any games anymore. I'm ready to settle down. So in her mind, right, I understand that she has a bias. I don't know that she understands it. So I don't believe she's doing this out of evil intent. I just believe she's talking about what she likes now. Because, right, when she says that her current boyfriend told her that he was into her and he was interested and he's like, hey, I'm not playing games, right? She liked that now because she's been thinking about this. She's been worrying about this. When am I going to find a guy? Shoot. I'm realizing she's been digging into red pill content. So she's been saying this like right now. She's like, oh, she's in a completely different mind frame than the majority of women. So she's in the mind frame just like the single mother, post-wall, where we're like, okay, you're telling us this now, but those same things you're saying, when you were in your early 20s or whatever, or when you were in your peak or whatnot, when you were in your best time to start a family, you would not be playing by these rules. So I'm taking her bias into account. I don't think she's doing this out of spite in any way. I just believe that remember, women have to justify certain things to live. They have a different way to process things. So I believe that she's kind of like justifying it, but this is why when I'm talking to her, it's like, I would like to hear her response, because I can see she has the ability with the hypergamy video to do a very like neutral, okay, and like fair take on it. So I would argue, like, I would like to see her do the same thing off of this. Like, okay, I hear your points, and maybe like I would just like to see what she comes up with or what she thinks about. So yeah, exactly. So she's looking at it now going, yeah, all the guys now that play games, I realize I don't want them now, because she's in a totally different mindset. She's in that mindset of, my biological clock is ticking. Now I need a man to settle down. But what that tells you is that it's not 100% natural attraction with her new boyfriend or whatever. Part of the bias was that guy was ready to settle down. He was looking for that. That's what makes her more attracted to this guy than if he was purely, just straight when she was 21 and this guy came into her life. There's probably a good chance she would have moved on from him, because she was looking for different things. So again, it's bad advice. That's why I'm breaking this down. I'm breaking this down not to tell you guys to get in a relationship. I'm breaking this down to say, be wary of the words they use, especially when they morph throughout their own, kind of like scale, right? A girl, again, Georgia Free at 21 years old would not be saying the things she's saying now. It just wouldn't come to her. This is coming after seeing a lot, being out there, dating a lot, and also seeing MGTOW red pill content and all that stuff. So again, I don't believe she's doing this out of spite, but it's bad advice. It's just bad advice for men. That's why I'm breaking this down. All right, let's see. We got one more part of this, I think. And then the best part to me, I think, was the comments on the video. I'm so proud of the comments on this video.
Because it gave me then ability to make him feel secure. Because if someone feels secure, often, security feeds security. It made us be able to move forward really quickly. There were never any issues. There was never any miscommunication. There were no games that played that wasted both of our times and made both of us think that we were just clowns, We were both...
Okay, when she said this is another trap you guys got to be careful. When she says security breeds security, we can look at that logically and be like, that makes sense, right? We can say, okay, if a guy says, hey, I'm looking to just be committed to you, monogamous, it gives her security. So we go, oh, dang, yeah, that makes sense logically, right? So we should do that. We should tell her, hey, this is what I'm looking for. We want to make her feel safe. We want to give her, you remember, everything they tell us. Tell her how you feel. Communicate your feelings, right? Give her security. She wants to know that. If she has that security in her feelings, then she knows she can trust you. So tell her how you feel. And it's like we got to understand that security is not attraction for women. This is one of those things where, yeah, it's what she wants to hear, strictly because she's scared right now. My biological clock, I need to find a guy. What she wants to hear, I feel security, is not what's attractive. What will make a woman keep working to impress you, keep working to be on her best behavior, to keep respecting you, is not what she's telling you to do. Because again, if you're making her feel secure, then she can start going, well, dang, this feels nice. I don't have to wear makeup anymore. I can sit around in my sweatpants all day. Oh God, I feel secure. I don't need to go to the gym anymore. I hated going to the gym after work. Gosh, now I don't have to do that anymore, right? When you make her feel secure, then she no longer starts fighting for you and is on her best behavior. And that's when it slowly gets to the point. It's that slow decaying death versus we all know that women will share a bad boy. Women will share an alpha. They will share a guy that gives them the tingle wingies. She'll share that guy because he's not making her feel secure. So she knows, dang, I don't know where I stand with him. Therefore, I need to really respect him and I need to be on my best behavior, or else maybe he doesn't like me. Maybe he won't hang out with me again. You see the difference? And again, right? Most guys go, once you literally put the ring on her finger, it doesn't matter how she acted before. Maybe she's one of those crazy unicorns. It's like, wow, I just want to make my husband so happy all my life, right? Maybe she's one in literally 1 million or 2 million. Maybe. But more than likely, that ring means security. Finally, I got my wedding pictures. Finally. You know how many brides I know? And these are brides that either I used to sleep with before or just like friends of friends, right? So many brides that I know that, again, their day of their wedding was one of the best they ever looked because they got the picture. They got the memory. Guess what I used to look like? Okay? But now they have security, right? They have the picture, they have the ring, they have the security. What else does she need to compete for now? Now she's eating 3 tubs of Ben & Jerry's ice cream every night. Now she's drinking 2 bottles of red wine and 3 shots of Fireball every night. Yes, I'm exaggerating, but again, we got to understand these as men about the difference between security is not attraction for women, and that won't make her respect a man. It just makes her feel safe. And when she feels safe with you, then you get her worst behavior because she feels safe with you. She can she can make you sit down and listen to her emotional garbage. Do you know what Karen said at work to me today? Oh my gosh, she feels safe to just give you all of that. Again, it's not the way to play it. Safety, security, in that sense, is not. The security that a woman wants is to be next to that match hunter right here. Match hunter looks like if this is match hunter, right? He looks like he's pretty ripped, okay? That's security. When I'm standing next to this guy that I feel like could protect me from a saber-toothed tiger or a wolf or another guy, right? That type of security turns a woman on. Dang, this guy could protect me. This guy makes me feel safe is virtually the opposite of a boner for women. It's like, oh, he makes me feel safe. Her boner, it's like, beep. Yeah, okay, maybe in 6 years I'll give him a kiss on the cheek to keep him happy. But that's not attraction. Just a totally different ballgame.
Attracted to each other based on the raw making up materials rather than just trying to use social circumstances to make us look better. And yes, okay, that's more applicable to a guy, but he definitely said I was physically attractive very early on, but hey, not everyone thinks that. At least he did. You only need one, right? Guys, I'm rambling. Let me know your thoughts. I know there are a hell of a lot of you out there that are always still going to have that urge to just play it cool. I get it. But just think about it inside. You have nothing to lose by being upfront, nothing to lose and everything to gain. Just get that little bit of confidence and say it, because then you're not going to waste your time. You're going to figure out if she likes you, and you're going to figure out if she likes you for the right reason. You're going to figure out the type of person she is as well, which is really important. So that would be my advice when you go on your next date. And I'd love your experiences. Leave us a comment.
Oh, come on, Georgia. You went backwards from a year ago, your hypergamy video. You went totally backwards from this. Maybe I got to watch other stuff to see if I agree with some of your other takes or not. But you guys, you hear that classic, like, it was like hey guys, don't be afraid. Excuse me, on your next date, work up the confidence to just say it. Tell her how you feel. It's like, come on, guys. If I ever wake up one day and I give you the advice, hey guys, don't worry about playing games with women. Just be yourself. Just have the confidence to tell her how you feel. And then I also give you advice about committing to women and getting into relationships and marriage and all that stuff. Not only unsubscribe, but leave me some hate comments so that you can snap me the heck out of it. That's horrible advice, guys. Horrible advice. And I know you guys will. I know you guys will hold me to that for sure. But again, like, dude, it's not going to work for you. So one of the things I wanted to go on to here is the comments. So, and again, Georgia Free, I would love, and I'm going to tag you, later or tomorrow or whatever. I'm going to tag you in this video, and I would love for you to watch this. And I would love for you to give me a response, and I will listen with open ears. But I would be very curious if you would hear this and then you would come back out and be like, okay, I was wrong. Or I want to hear if you're going to justify a little bit, and I want to hear the spin. If I honestly missed something, I would like to hear that too. But that would be interesting. I would like to see that because I have seen it with your hypergamy video. Again, I give a lot of props to that because you explained it very dang well, in my opinion. So I got hope for you, Georgia. I just want to know what you're going to come up with on that. All right, we got super chat here from 02500. 02500, he says, glad to catch your stream, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Glad you're here. I know it's tough as a smaller channel, but you are doing God's work. The red pill saves lives. Stay safe, brothers. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Hey, you guys in the comments keep me fresh too, because you guys will tell me stuff, and it's like if I hear something from the comments and I'm like, wait a second, I haven't heard that before, I like dig in, and then it is really fun. I've learned a lot. Like for instance, when one of you guys, someone in the comments mentioned the paternity fraud thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, when I opened up that can of worms, I was shocked at the statistics of that. So I appreciate you guys. You guys keep me like, you keep me researching, which I like to do. So thank you, Zero. All right, let's go to some of the comments, guys. I'm so proud of all of these comments. I took from now YouTube's done it differently. It's no longer like the top comments at the top of a video. I don't know how they do it. Maybe it's just the most recently commented on. But I did all these you're gonna see are the exact top comments, just the most recent comments. Other than there was one that was super long that I would have had to like take a couple screenshots off, so I just ignored that completely. But I am proud of the comments on again, I'm shocked that there's 3,000 people that dislike this. I'm actually curious who said no, because I thought as a man, she did a really reasonable job of explaining that from a woman's perspective. I wonder if it was women or white knights that didn't want to believe the truth. They disliked that one. But again, I thought that was it. I might break that down some other time. But let's see. Now we'll go up this. Okay, dating advice for women from men. All right, this was on her video that we just went over. Okay. We got Johnny Wesley says, word of advice for fellas. Do not take dating advice from women. That's great. That's great. Okay. All right. So again, I'm just telling you guys, I'm proud of these comments. Oops. Every guy that's told Georgia Free how he feels has been put in the friend zone. Every guy that's told her how he feels has been put in the friend zone. Oh, dang, man. Yeah, shoot. I have to go back real quick.
Be upfront with women.
All right. The last part I wanted to say is just because it worked doesn't mean it's a good advice. Okay, what I wanted to mention here, because there are going to be some people that say, well, I did that and it worked. Like the guy that got married 15 years ago, like George is saying, well, my boyfriend did that and it worked. Okay, what I was going to say is just because it worked doesn't mean it was good advice. Her boyfriend, or whoever guy she's with now, I guarantee he's one of the more high status men, at least in his job, or, you know, something about him is high status. Maybe he's really good looking. So although it worked for him, that doesn't mean it was good advice. Just because he did it and it worked is in the fact that she's his girlfriend. That doesn't mean that playing it the other way wouldn't have worked better, because it would have worked better. And this is where it is a difference between, like when we talk about the difference between if a guy says something, a good looking guy or a charming guy says something to a woman, it's seen as charming or flattering. Whereas if you took the same guy, but you did it to a guy that was unattractive to a woman, didn't look as good, or didn't have as much, maybe he was a shorter guy as well, like all these things, the same thing you could say would be seen as, she would want to press charges, or seen as like, this guy sexually harassed me. Okay, the same thing that a high status man could do or say doesn't work with a low status man or a guy that she doesn't deem is high status. So just because it worked, guys, we got to understand it doesn't mean it's good advice. All it means is that this guy had enough going for him that she looked past that mistake that he made. So that's important, because that's one of the things too. It's like, man, saying something risky or something like that to a woman, which I like to do, is scary. It can be scary because, again, if a woman doesn't perceive you the way, if a woman doesn't perceive you the way that you think she's going to perceive you, if you say something the exact same, it can be held against you and legally held against you. So that part's scary. So I wanted to bring that up just to sum it all up. And yeah, just because it worked doesn't mean it's good advice. Everyone gets lucky here, or it means that he had enough looks and status that he was able to get away with it. But it would have gone better the other way. If Georgia went on this date with this guy and she's like, wow, he's a really cool guy, I like him, and he was mysterious and he didn't tell her how he feels, she would be lying if she didn't go, okay, yeah, I would wonder what he's about. I would probably text him. Like, she would have been more interested in him rather than, oh, I feel secure now, right? That's the difference, is she would have been more attracted to him and all that, versus she used it as like, wow, he was courageous and it made me feel secure. That's a bunch of hogwash. That's just lies. Just lies. All right, now we'll get back to the comments. Yes, exactly, Rex Davis. Totally. Very, very true. There's some things I want to tell guys about, like certain things I've done at parties. I'm like, oh yeah, dude, wait, if you did this with a girl. But it's like, I had to realize this too. It's like, wait a second. If somebody did that, it could actually be seen right now as like Me Too or whatnot. So it's very true. If a guy knows how to do it, he has the charisma, the charm, he can say the exact same things as a guy that she just doesn't see the same way. And it can actually get a guy in big trouble. So true. That's why there needs to be so much more of like defining language on what is sexual harassment or what is verbal harassment. Not all of this like, or what is what's that? What is like consensual sex, right? There are some people that say, well, I had sex with him when he was my boyfriend, but now that we broke up, I would have never slept with him. I only sleep with guys that are my boyfriend. So now that we're broken up, I didn't consent to us having sex in the past, right? There's so many moving goalposts that it's just insane. It's just insanity. So that needs to be stated for sure. People need clear boundaries about what is, or else there's going to be more and more of this like division at work where guys are like, nah, I'm good. I'm not going to the staff party. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be alone with a woman in this room. I'm not going to blah, blah, blah. Because why would he? It's a gamble. It's a gamble that a guy doesn't need to take. All right, every guy that's told Georgia Free how he feels has been put in the friend zone. Absolutely. She might argue with this and she'd be like, no, that's not true. But again, that's because women that deem a guy lesser value, she just deletes them from her computer. Boom. Done. It's gone. That guy, low status, gone from my life. That guy, I deem low status, gone from my... She deletes them, boop, out of the memory. Excuse me. That is... So that is why it's like, she could be like, no, that's not true. That's not true. It's like, if we had a video camera going back on her life, we would see so many guys that did exactly the game plan that she said in this video, and it didn't work, or it worked backwards. It like really, embarrassed him, or he got made fun of it. Like, just not good. All right, here we go. Spencer says, never tell women your intentions. The mystery will be solved, and she will think she has you figured out. Women don't want to know the truth. They want to play the game. 100%. It's so true, right? Any girl, from Georgia Free's own words, right? Any girl that makes you play games, and if you don't play games, she's not attracted to you, well, those are red flags. It's like, that's every woman. So if you're saying that, then every woman has a red flag, which is what a lot of guys are saying, that women get upset when we say it. But when we take your logic by it, it's true, right? They do not want the truth. They don't want to know, oh, it's like, if I think a girl looks good, it's not like she wants me to just sit there. She wants to earn it. She wants to work for it. If she doesn't work for it, then it's not valuable to her, because she gets it from every other guy. I like this one. Invaser33 says, women always say they want a simp, and yet most simps remain single. What women want is the opposite to what they say they want. Yes, that's true. That's totally true. Until I find a woman that actually somehow gives completely great dating advice, attraction advice to women, then I stand by this completely. Because 99.9, actually every woman that I've heard, I've never heard her give straight good dating advice. There's too many biases mixed in. You don't ask a fish how to be caught. You just don't do it. The fish would not tell you. Any smart fish. All right, here's one. Peter Young. I've always been upfront with women I've been interested in. Really tired of hearing, you're a really nice guy, but women think I'm great as a friend. So the old saying, women just want a nice guy, doesn't seem to ring true. Absolutely. Again, I'm glad that guys are bringing this up and pointing this out, but that's why this video is like important to done, because again, a lot of guys can get sucked in by her hypergamy video, going, dang, that was good. And then they go to this and they're like, oh, is that true? The whole time I've been following these other red pill channels, and they're like, you can't tell a woman how she feels or else she'll lose attraction for you. And that's been my experience my whole life. But she's saying that the real quality women will go for that. So I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep telling her how I feel. And then eventually a real quality woman, the woman that I really want, my soulmate, she will be the one that appreciates my honesty, when in reality, it's that gold digger. I'm not saying for sure, but it's that girl that goes, I do want commitment. Oh gosh, any guy that knows my past, he's never been willing to commit to me. This guy wants commitment. Oh my gosh, I can be the best wife. Oh, you'll see the whole show she'll put on then. So yeah, gotta be careful. We got another Peter here. I think we had 3 Peters in a row. Peter Flisher. Never ever be upfront with a woman in any circumstances. She will lose interest. She will lose any interest she has in you, and you will be relegated to the friend zone. The harder she works for your attention, the more she will value you. The old adage, treat them mean to keep them keen, has been true for years and still is. Yes, very, very true. Again, the way that I see the friend zone, right? If you tell her how you feel, you'll be relegated to the friend zone. The way that I see the friend zone is she looks at you like another woman, right? She looks at you as a friend, just a friend. She looks at you as a woman. You're giving off feminine characteristics. One of those feminine characteristics is telling your feelings. It's telling her how you feel. Just getting it out there, expressing yourself. So when you do that, what she does is she starts to, right? She tells you that's what she wants to hear, but subconsciously she hears that and she's like, she sees you as feminine, again, as another friend. So you're in the friend zone. You're in the feminine zone is basically what you are in. True. Peter Flisher knows. All right. We got Peter Pike now, the third Peter in a row. We got lemon lime now. Peter Pike says, it's been my experience that every time I shared anything with a woman, she used it as ammo against me the moment she got upset at some random BS. We've done videos on this. So true. The more you give her, the more ammo she has for her psychological ninja ways. Every guy that is honest with themselves or can step back, even if they're blue-pilled, right? Every guy that can step back, and if they really examine this, like every time I've experienced, like shared something with a woman, she used it as ammo against me the moment she got upset at something. Every guy, blue pill or red pill, goes, oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yet, we started off this video. Let me just show you again, in case you forgot.
Be upfront with women. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
You have nothing to lose and everything to gain by being upfront with a woman. Nothing to lose except for the most important part of you as a man, which is your balls. You lose your balls when you do that. Because guys know this. You start this journey with her. Oh, wow, I told her how I feel. That was the key. That worked. The more you do that, the more she takes your balls. She just slowly brings them over, takes them, she sets them in her purse, and now your balls are actually her balls, and she can decide what to do with them. Right? That's all that will happen when you are expressive in telling her how you feel. The truth, anyway. Yeah, marriage is the ultimate demasculination. You know what's funny is when we talk about how men can see logically about things, isn't that funny how it used to be where you had to win the father's approval? The father would dictate, like he would look this guy up, see, is this going to be a stand-up guy? Is he going to be able to provide? Is he going to, right? The father was the one that would decide things like this. Logically, he could see. So isn't that funny? Well, they took fathers out of the home. They have really tried to just beat men down. So again, these days, there's nothing like that, right? They don't have that. A lot of times the fathers that are in the home, and respect to any father that was able to, really show a man, show guys what it is like to be a man. But a lot of times these days, what happens is a lot of times the fathers just get slowly feminized to the point where, dang, now you don't even have the father, you don't even have the masculine role model to look up, even if the father is still there in the home with you. So there's a lot there. It used to just be father out of the home, this is the problem. Now it's even father out of the home, that's a big problem. Father in the home, that can also be a problem, because now you see your dad is just getting steamrolled by the mother. And you're like, this is how it is? And then the women that see that, they go, oh, this is the type of man I want to look for. The guy that will do whatever I say. The guy that will bend to my will, right? It's just flip-flop backwards to the point where it just doesn't make sense anymore. It just doesn't make sense for a guy to commit to something like that anymore. Hey, that's right, my Packer brother. We can agree on something there, right? She lost her youth to Chad. Yes, she did. Chad Thundercup. All right, Peter Pike. Let's go to the. You guys. Anyone else? Are you guys really curious now about what text her boyfriend sent her that she said? The opening text that she wouldn't show. They're too personal. I'm so curious. I would eat that up. That would keep me fulfilled for a couple days. Just let me chew on that. Let me look at 2 screenshots of that first date, and let me tell you exactly how the rest of the relationship will go. Give me those first 2 screenshots, and I will tell you exactly how I would love that. Oh, man. I wish we could break it down right now. That would be so fun. What am I on now? We did the use the ammo against you, I think. Yep, okay. All right. We got two more here. Richard Powell says, interesting. I've heard women say they like a challenge. The fact is, women don't know what the heck they want. Another good comment by Richard Powell. These were the top, maybe the most recent. I don't know how they do that. Maybe they were the top comments, but they were the top ones that I saw when I looked on that. If you go to her hypergamy video after this, you'll see the top comments. So proud. Look at these. Yes, exactly, right? In the 1995 Stoic, exactly. If the laws weren't the way they were, men could actually do it and remain attractive to their women, but since you got so much to lose, it's self-sacrifice or nothing. Exactly. These days, it's literally like you said, it's you're admitting defeat almost in a sense. Because you're committing to just her and all that. That used to mean something big. That used to be something like, because the guy would go out, he would provide, he would be the man at work, he would bring home. That used to be something that women would respect. My man, he's out there doing stuff. She would support him. Man, I'm so proud of my man. Versus now, right? If a girl can go get a job, or if she can get welfare from the government, or if she can get unemployment checks, whatever, right? She has Big Daddy government. She don't need no man. She don't need no man unless you're going to worship her feet. If you're going to worship the 627-pound hippopotamus that you will find on online dating, if you're willing to worship her, she might give you a chance. Oh yeah, she might give you a chance if you're willing to bend the knee to her. But yeah, exactly right. It used to be something that was like, I'm going to work for this man. I'm going to learn all the skills I need to be a great mother, a great wife. I'm going to learn how to cook. I'm going to learn how to clean. I can't wait to raise a family. I'm not going to date to just sleep around. I'm going to date for marriage. There was just a whole different mindset. So yeah, and I'll tell you guys all this. I'm always I'm looking to be up to date on any laws or anything that change. When things change, I'll let you know. But as of right now, again, it's just it's not, there's no winnable solution as a man. You have to completely rely on the woman that you commit to, and it's just too hard to do that these days, right? A man could play it perfectly and it doesn't matter. A woman could wake up one day and go, I want to see what's out there. I just don't feel the spark anymore. A guy could play it perfectly and that could happen, and what can he do? So again, the only thing is, right, it has to be in the woman's control to make a marriage successful and work these days. And I personally don't want to risk my future well-being on a woman. I'm not going to trust that she's going to do it, right? I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to trust that. So until there's some type of, fairness that men actually have some type of power, like even just think about it right now, just the whole her body, her choice. Just think about that. Women are growing up believing, right? It's my body, my choice. It doesn't matter if you got me pregnant. You have zero say in this except for when you have to pay me child support after, right? You have zero say in this. So think about that mindset that women grow up with. Even if they don't know that this is rooted in them literally believing that it's her body, her choice. It's her child. Every woman believes it's her child way more than the guys. She believes, well, it grew in my stomach. This is mine. You don't get the same say as I do. They don't believe that it was co-created. They believe that all you were there was the sperm. I could have got sperm from anywhere. Like, that's the mindset. So then when you put that into marriage, that's the scariest part, guys. That to me is the scariest part, because if I had a child, I would do anything. And I think every guy knows this feeling. If you have a child, you would do anything. You would do anything for them. When I was a teacher, I would have done anything for my kids. Anything. Like, I seriously, like when the Sandy Hook thing came out, like I was just like, dude, I would have died for my class. I would do anything for them. So the fact that can be the mindset a guy has, but you get married and a woman has this mindset, my body, my choice. He doesn't have an equal say in this. Okay, just think now. Fights, arguing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. The normal things that were going to happen, okay? Now you're going to get a divorce. She has zero reason to play fair. She doesn't go, well, I know statistically children without a father in the home are much more likely to go to prison. I know statistically, blah, blah, blah. She doesn't think about that. She goes, my body, my choice. This is my child. You did nothing. You've never done anything this whole time. I deserve, full custody, or I deserve majority custody. You're lucky you get to see them. And that right there, my friends, that I could never put up with. I couldn't deal with that. I cannot even imagine that. Like, I can't imagine that ability, that if I would invest all of that into a family or a child, that could be taken away, and then we deal with the whole parental alienation and all that. I don't know how we got to that point, but that is scary. That to me is super scary and totally unjust, and that should be enough reason for any guy to be like, this is not fair. Like, this is just not cool. And it really isn't. But, who knows? Maybe someday it will change, maybe not. We're doing the best we can. Us guys are doing the best we can for the situation that we're presented with. Yeah, what do you do for a living equals what can I use you for? Yeah, what do you do for a living? What can I use you for? I used to think it was so innocent. Oh, conversation starter. What do you do for a living? Not knowing that women have grown up since the youngest of time to know, oh yeah, here's the type of men you want. If he's a doctor, he's a lawyer, he's a women engineer, right? Women know. That question is not nearly as innocent as I used to think it was. All right, last one we got here. Last comment. I don't know why I have this in still. Was I talking super loud, guys? Hope not, my bad. Okay, this one right here. Saul says, you're applying logic to female behavior. Maybe you're the exception to the rule, but in general, women want what they can't have. Being too available to a woman indicates neediness, and no woman wants that. Your opinions are validating the point that women give the worst dating advice devoid of reality in human nature. Totally true. Because, again, right, even if it was true that maybe to Georgia herself, maybe, again, I would debate this. I guarantee she would have done. If I taught whoever her boyfriend is now, if he knew texting principles and all that, same situation, she would be more attracted to them than she is now. Okay, I'm just 1,000% confident in that fact. However, okay, if devoid of reality and human nature, oh yeah, wait. Oh yeah, okay. But if she's true, then in her specific situation, because she has, right? And no woman that I've ever seen has done a video on hypergamy like she's done, where I was like, oh, okay, she gets it. Most women that do a hypergamy video, maybe they start off like one or two sentences, maybe a paragraph is like, oh, okay, all right, they got it. And then you guys know, they go off the deep end. They just throw out all logic and they go to emotions. Totally, right? But again, I'm going to tell you guys, watch our hypergamy video. It's so well done. So this Saul guy is going, maybe because she actually understands hypergamy, maybe she sees it a little tiny bit differently than most, but still, one, that's such an exception to the rule in itself because she actually understands what very few women understand, but also that it would have gone better if he played games anyway. So even if it was true that it worked because of where she's at mentally, one, most women are never going to get there. And two, it would have worked better had he not been so straightforward. I've just experimented too many different ways. There's just no doubt in my mind about that. So, that is the old dating advice from dating advice for men from a woman from Georgia Free. Again, Georgia Free, if you happen to see this, I want to hear what you say. I'm actually super curious. I like having these discussions with women just to see where they go to, just to see where their mind's at, just to see either how far apart it is from what they actually know to be true, or where they're, or what they're able to take from it and kind of understand so that they can see the other side. I just get very curious about this. Most guys, if you give them enough good information in front of them and they're willing to listen, they're going to take this logically. Okay, it makes sense. But again, to me, learning that, like thinking about this from a woman's perspective is really interesting. That's why I'm subscribed to Georgia Free. I like to listen to what she's gonna, say when she comes out with a new video, strictly because she got me engaged with that hypergamy video. I see that the logic was there, but it wasn't here in this video, in my opinion. How long before Simp Nation falls and the return of red pill spaces? Well, okay. I don't know for sure, but what I do know is there's a awakening happening in the world. And there could be a whole bunch of ways you take this about what's going on right now. Yeah, you might be at the point where you're like, well, okay, a lot of this is an agenda that is being pushed. I'm talking about all of the things between protesters versus rioters, okay? Big difference here. So you might be seeing what's going on right now, okay? That there is something going on. And maybe you've looked into things and going, this could have been a false flag to promote an agenda right before a big election coming up to try to start a race war. You might be looking at it like that way, which I might say, hey, maybe keep digging. Maybe see what's going on there. Because it's pretty odd that there became not only a national protesting and rioting across a national one that seemed coordinated, that all just happened to spring up randomly. But it's also like, if you guys look, like globally right now, there are people marching over what happened in the United States right now. So you might go, okay, there is something right now that we have seen that we've never seen. And I'm on that same one. Now, again, what the actual truth of this whole situation is will be revealed in time, because right now people are in a very emotional place that it's hard to talk to anyone about what's going on right now. But I know for sure things are changing. I don't know whether they're changing in this specific arena avenue here, but world, there's a shift happening. We just don't know. It's not like if this was 1990 to 2000s or something, or 2000s to 2010 right now. There's nothing that I can think of that was like monumental that there's some big change. Right now, we know there's this whole like COVID thing. Everyone was on lockdown. Now, all of a sudden, it's totally okay for everyone to just be protesting in the streets right next to each other all over the place, right? Start thinking about some of the things, all right? Here's another thing to think about again. And again, I will always tell you guys what I think is the truth. It might not always be what you want to hear, but to me, I don't care. I just care about the truth. To me, think about some things, right? Everyone's making this such a racial issue, okay? If you look back to George Floyd, just look at the whole thing, okay? Is it strictly racial, or why are there 3 other cops that are there? Okay, I think one was Chinese, one was Mexican, one was a black cop. And then they got the guy that did the actual knee thing, white cop, okay? But the other 3 were different ethnicities. So when you sit there and go, okay, interesting. Well, if this was a racial thing, why did those other 3 cops just stand there and let it happen? And then you look at who the medics were that picked them up. And then you look at, was George Floyd a Freemason? And then you look into the Freemasons, or maybe you've already looked into that. But when you start to add all these things up together and you go, wait a second, there was like coordinated protests, riots, to like fires and looting and all that stuff, right? That's different than a peaceful protest. And you look at how all of that thing is tied together. And then if you even step back further and you've been watching the agendas play out and you see how they try to divide us between, they try to divide us between race, gender, they try to divide us between social class. The elites above the world, try to divide us in so many ways. This is why the people I'm talking about, these elites, are the ones that came up with the idea of feminism, the feminist movement. These elites are the ones that plotted, because they understand hypergamy, they understand female nature, they plotted to destroy men and women. We want to take a war against men and women. Guess what, guys? It's happening. Okay? It's happening. It worked. They did it with the feminist movement. That was all funded by people that didn't have our best interests at heart. They didn't have women's best interests at heart. They sat back, laughed. You know what? Did I already show you guys that video? I think I did. I'm going to show it to you right now. I'm going to show you that video. I just got to show it to you. I didn't think that we were going to get here today, but we're here.
Be upfront with women.
You've seen that. Oh, I need to put my headphones in. Guys, things going on right now are just crazy, but I see what's being pushed in the mainstream, and I see my sources that I've been following and digging through and all this stuff, and it's just totally different stories of what's going on. Let me put up this feminist agenda. Here we go.
Are ramping up the other. Here, Nick Rockefeller laid out a perfect example of the oligarch's view on taxes to Aaron Russo in the late 90s.
He's at the house one night, and we were talking, and he started laughing. He said, Aaron, what do you think women's liberation was about? And I said, I'm pretty conventional thinking about it at that point. I said, I think it's about women having the right to work, getting equal pay with men, just like they won the right to vote.
Okay, right? So just hear that. He's talking to one of the Rockefellers. And if you don't know who the Rockefellers are, they have a big, especially public education, they've messed a lot of things up. But anyway, he's saying, you know, like, what do you, the Rockefeller is asking him, hey, what do you think the feminist movement was about? And he's saying when we hear it, what women talk about, right? The ploy, oh, it's about women's rights, getting the right to vote, equality, all that, right? So when we hear that at the base level, we go, oh, dang, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
You know, and he started to laugh. He said, you're an idiot. And I said, why am I an idiot? He said, let me tell you what that was about. We, the Rockefellers, funded that. We funded Women's Lib, you know? And we're the ones who got all of the newspapers and television, the Rockefeller Foundation. He says, and you want to know why? He said, there were two primary reasons. And they were, one reason was we couldn't tax half the population before Women's Lib. And the second reason was, now we get the kids in school at an early age. We can indoctrinate the kids how to think. It breaks up the family. The kids start looking at the state as the family, as the school, as the officials, as their family, not as the parents teaching them. And so those are the two primary reasons for Women's Lib, which I thought up to that point was a noble thing. You know, when I saw their intentions behind it, where they were coming from when they created it, the thought of it, I saw the evil behind what I thought was a noble venture.
Okay, so...
All right, so, I mean, it's like, and this is why it's so hard, because when I say I'm against feminism, there's a lot of reasons for it. I could logically break down why to a normal person. But when you really understand, right, the people up above created feminism for two reasons. One was simply just they could only tax half the population before, when it was all men just working. So they're like, oh, let's get women to work. Let's bring up this whole feminism thing. Let's get them, make them feel empowered, make them feel like men are impressing them and that they should want to go out and work and have a career job and have a job. Why? Because one, we get to now tax women too. So we not only get all the tax from the men, we just doubled the amount of tax money we're going to get. And if you guys look into the real ability things with tax, we should not be paying nearly as much as we're paying right now in taxes. That's what the first American Revolution was, happening. It's like the Boston Tea Party. Taxes, unfair taxes, right? We've been slowly taxed to death to where people have to work 40 hours a week or more, and they have to have dual incomes in a lot of families. Taxes should not be happening the way they are. But what these people did, these people up above, for many, many years, they have been creating chaos. They've been creating stuff like that, like taxes, right? They'll tell us all these things we need for these foreign nations. They'll tell us all these things we need for blah, 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 for, climate change, for, NASA. They throw all of these things and we're like, oh, it's just the taxpayers paying our money. If we didn't pay our money, the roads wouldn't be paved and all that crap. It's like, no. Understand how little amount of taxes we need to pay to still take care of all the roads and all that. Nothing like we're paying now. So what they did is they funneled all these people up here, right? It's crazy, guys, right? Just think about, we know that there are good people and bad people in the world. We know there's criminals, okay? No one stops and thinks and goes, well, what if the criminals all happened to get together and just happened to promote themselves up to the highest spots of all the corporations? What if all the criminals were at the top of most things that you see? And then what if all those criminals conspired to get dirt on people that wanted to actually make real change, right? Which they've done. If you look into the Playboy mansion, all that stuff, Jeffrey Epstein's island, lots of stuff. That's what they do. They get people, get them compromised. They have video on them. Now that person is in their pocket. They have to fund their agendas. They have to be the puppet for the puppeteers. Okay, so they've done this long thing. Criminals Just think, criminals have been in charge. They've been creating a bunch of bogus crap for us to pay taxes into. Like all of this stuff for foreign relations and all of this stuff for climate change and all of this they never really tell us where the money goes. So again, when I say all this and I say, okay, we don't know, there's a reason, like when I say like Donald Trump is cutting taxes, there's just so much going on right now. And I don't know how the heck I just got here, guys. That's how my brain works. But part of this whole agenda was feminism. They're dividing us. Right now, what we're seeing going on right now is they're trying to divide races. They're trying to make this a racist issue. And that's why I brought up the George Floyd thing. Like, think logically, right? Even if that guy was a racist, it's like, it doesn't make sense what he was doing in front of a camera with 3 other cops around. It doesn't make sense. And if you look into it, George Floyd and this cop knew each other for 17 years before that. Did anyone know that? Did you guys know that? Did you know George Floyd has porn videos out there? Look that up on X videos. He has 3 porns. I watched them to make sure that people weren't lying to me when I was saying this. And you look at the tattoos he has and you know who the Freemasons are? And you know what the Freemasons do? So there's all of this stuff. What I'm trying to say is they are, in my opinion, stoking racial division. They're trying to stoke whatever they can. And now we're seeing this basically apocalypse of some sort. But what I'm here to tell you is that people that have followed this for a long time, people that know who, it's under my shirt actually. Boom. Where we go, one we go all. People that have followed Q. You hear QAnon? Guys, I'm just telling you, you're going to hear misinformation about it. People that have followed this have known stuff like this is going to happen for a couple years. Riots, that was talked about a couple years ago. It's crazy. I don't know. There's so many loops to go into this, guys. But basically what I'm getting at is something's going to fall and something's going to take its place. I don't know whether that will be a bunch of morals would be reinstilled into the community. When people see the agendas, when people see the whole agendas behind Planned Parenthood and what they're doing to the aborted children, how they're selling them for organ harvesting, how they're doing some really sick things. You know, God, I could go a million ways. Vaccines have aborted fetal tissue in them. So, okay, man, I'm going to go again here, guys. At the risk of sounding completely crazy, which I just don't care, man. I care about the truth. All right, why do we have so many men these days, other than just propaganda, that are totally pussies? Total pussies. Where are the men, okay? Why do we have so many also women that are masculinized, okay? There is a big thing to do with this, with social media and programming we hear and all the articles we read, toxic masculinity. That's one factor. There's so many other factors too when you dive into it, okay? Just think, if aborted fetuses are in vaccines, and look that up before you, just look it up and you'll go, okay, that's true, okay? Think about that. I've seen some people connect some things. Now, I can't say for sure, but it would make sense that if a male young child is getting some aborted fetal material injected into them in vaccines, okay, along with a bunch of other stuff that if you really look into is not good. I would never put that in my body. So if these, like a young boy is being injected here with aborted fetal tissue and a bunch of other stuff from there, but they're being injected with an aborted fetal tissue from a female, abortion. Just think what is being now inside of this child that could potentially give him some feminine characteristics. Why are people so gender confused? People are literally gender confused. I have some Reddit videos that I'm going to be, posting out soon that I recorded. I just haven't edited them yet. But stuff like where guys are like literally confused, and you got women that are also confused. Now, man, there's so much to this. But again, that's one of the factors that I look at as well. So if we think about it, about what we could sit back and go, wow, I could see how society could be potentially prevalent again. I could see how we could get rid of some of this hypergamy and all the standards we have. All the things with like abortions, honestly, when you think about going against human nature, like you're supposed to be pregnant and all of a sudden now you have something outside of nature that's like, nope, boop, suck it back up. we got to think that that's going to cause damage psychologically and other things. It's just against nature. The more you go against nature, you'll know this if you look into nutrition or diets, the more problems are going to come. So if you look into the whole thing about Planned Parenthood, who is behind all that, why they're behind that, not because they want to give women the choice. They don't want to do it because of the circumstances that some women, it's like, no, understand how much money they're making by getting women to abort. And then when you look into the history of child sacrifice, because that's literally what it is if you think about it, and you see that it goes back for years and years and years and years. And we can sit here and look at the Aztecs, for say. We can look at the Aztecs and say, wow, they were so primitive. I can't believe they would actually believe that you would take a child up to an altar and have it sacrificed because you believe that that is going to do something for your God. We can look at them and think that they're barbarians, but yet on every corner, during the mass quarantine, what was open? All of the abortion clinics were open. So we can sit there and look at them like we're so smart. Oh, those barbarians, I can't believe they used to have this child and they bring it up to sacrifice it to the gods. It's like, what are we doing right now? Now, again, I had different thoughts on the whole abortion thing early on until I started looking into it than I do now, because I don't like to get played. I don't like to tell people what to do. But when you see the sick agenda that's going on and how much they're making every time someone gets an abortion, it's sickening. It's disgusting. Guys, there's so much to the world that I've woken up to. It's like 800,000 children go missing every single year. Really? 800,000? Okay, we had this mass uproar. Okay, again, I don't condone anything that was done in that video with George Floyd, but we had this mass uproar, in not only our nation, but across the world for someone being unfairly killed. Absolutely. Great. There was uproar needed, okay, for stuff like that. That shouldn't happen. Again, I have my own thoughts on how it was all planned and all that, but again, that should not happen. But we have that big of an uproar, yet 800,000 children, this is not abortions, this is children go missing? They're gone. No one hears about this because it's mostly from orphanages or from, things of like a lot of children that didn't have family around them. So no one's going to care. No one's going to search. Dude, that's serious, man. It's sickening. When you look into stuff like that, and then you start to go, though, but wait a second. Things are actually being done about that right now when they never have before. That's when you have a whole different perspective on what is going on right now. That is why I will tell you guys, I am a huge Trump supporter. And I know it's not smart to say that if you say business-wise. I know it's not smart to say that subscriber-wise. I don't care. There's a reason why. If any guy are sitting here and you don't like Trump, just understand, you're learning things right now about female nature that you would have never learned on the mainstream. Can we agree on that? And if that's the choice, if that's the thing you're seeing, it's like, wow, mainstream would never tell me how women really are. They'll never tell me about the real dangers of marriage. They'll never tell me about all the unjust laws. Same with nutrition, same idea, okay? Now you go, okay, well, Trump, I hate Trump. Why? Why do you hate him? Because the media told you to? Have you seen what he's doing behind the scenes that the media will never tell you to? Because 6 media corporations own 93% of the media that we see on a daily basis. We're talking articles, obviously the actual programming, broadcast, and all that stuff. 6 companies have a share of 93%. So if all of that 93% had a reason to be against somebody because that person was actually exposing injustice, exposing corruption, exposing what these sick people have done to us as humans for so long, you can better bet that they're going to use 93% of their media to tell you a different story than what's really going on. And I think that's just super important for people to understand, because people that hate Trump or get triggered by Trump, I have so many people in my actual life, family members, friends that do. And I don't look at them, I don't look at those people and I don't go, you're stupid. I don't do that because I understand what the media is presenting. I understand any type of information they get is going to be tilted a certain way. I don't I give them the credit because I understand, okay, you're only seeing one side. If you saw the other side, I know you're a good person, you would actually be on my side on this. I don't do that. But what these other people never give me or other people the credit for or respect of is that they don't listen to the other side. They only know one side and they're so furious about it. I don't hold that against people that are brainwashed right now. But when people call me stupid or call me a racist or call me a sexist or call whatever because of my support for somebody and they don't know the truth, then to me, they're completely ignorant. That's how when I look on my social media, I literally laugh now. I'm like, okay, that person's drinking the Kool-Aid. That person, and then I see somebody post a little Epstein didn't kill himself. I'm like, ooh, there's some hope there. I'm talking about in my normal everyday life feed. I'm like, oh, dang, there's some hope there. But I live in Washington State, guys. So many people are anti it, and I just want to know why. I question why. So, oh, man, I don't know. Guys, I don't know how it happens like that. That's my mind. That's what you call ADD. I get fired up, though. But I want to actually see some of your guys' comments, just see what you guys are thinking about this, because it's a really important point, man. I love all people. I really do. I just wish people could see the truth because our world would be better because of it. Man, so much stuff. By the way, okay, this Anonymous here, which I know you're not anonymous. Okay, Anonymous, you guys know, have you guys heard of Anonymous, the actual account? Anonymous was compromised a couple years ago. Anonymous, the actual account you might hear with the V for Vendetta face that would post stuff on Facebook and all that stuff, that helped wake me up to Hillary Clinton and her emails. I had heard about that and I was like, wait a second, what's there? And then I looked into it, I was like, oh dang. So Anonymous woke me up to that part. But just understand, guys, Anonymous has been compromised. They are, and everyone that knows what's going on knows that now. If you guys hear the actual Anonymous, the V for Vendetta, and they say something, yeah, I used to trust them at a certain point because they were giving information, but it's called a psyop, a psychological operation. What they'll do is they'll give you some truth that you won't find other places, so you trust them, and then they feed you disinformation so that you trust them, and now you buy their garbage, their propaganda that they're giving you now. That's what's happened to Anonymous, the site, just in case you guys know that now. That's, again, the difference between that is that's planned. Georgia Free, the same idea, her hypergamy video, great video. So you might go, dang, I can trust this girl to give me advice about how women really look at it. But this next video, you can't do that. It's the same thing. It's almost like it's been infiltrated, but I don't believe that she has an agenda. I believe the Anonymous totally has an agenda, because when you, and the fun question, guys, gets to when you wonder why. When you wonder why did they try to cover up? What are they scared of? When you understand what they're hiding, that is when everybody in the world will wake up. Because when I said the children, 800,000 children missing again, there's nothing that gets me more fired up than something done to innocent children. And when you find out what these people have been doing, and when I say all the people you pretty much look up to, most of them, maybe not you personally, but the majority of people, the celebrities, again, you got to understand that they've played this game where the criminals are up top. They don't want anyone to expose them. So what did the criminals do? This is what Hugh Hefner did. Hugh Hefner, Playboy bunny guy, right? Okay, here's what Hugh Hefner did. Hugh Hefner would get, okay, let's just say Snoop Dogg. Let's just say someone was hot and up and coming. You go, okay, this guy's going to have a voice for the people. I got to make sure that they're not going to expose anything that's really going on. So what does he do? Hugh Hefner is this guy that works for the CIA. Look into it. You work for the CIA. Okay, Hugh Hefner invites Snoop and other people over to his Playboy mansion. And he's got all these girls over, right? No big deal. They're legal girls. But, Hugh goes, hey, Snoop, though, hey, I got something a little younger for you. Are you interested? And maybe he says yes, but maybe he says no. It doesn't matter, right? Because now Hugh knows there might be a girl that he has working for him that's 16. She looks like she's 18. She looks like she's 21. Okay? Snoop has sex with her. Playboy Mansion had cameras everywhere. Snoop doesn't know there's cameras. Snoop just had sex with a 16-year-old. Maybe he didn't know it. And again, I'm just bringing up Snoop Dogg as an example. Okay? Anyone with a voice. So now what happens is Hugh Hefner has him on camera going, hey, by the way, that girl's 16. Okay? Now he has him compromised. Now that alone might not be that bad if Snoop was like, I come out, I'm going to blow, they did this to me. Most people would forgive him for that. But think about that. Now he just goes, hey, I won't say anything. I won't tell anybody. This won't be blasted on the media, which would lose you your entire base, because you know how they could spin it like they're doing right now on Donald Trump, right? He goes, I won't say anything, but just you don't say blah, blah, blah. You don't expose blah, blah, blah. There's certain things you can't talk about. Okay, you do that. Now, it gets deeper and darker way more when you want to move up to the next level. You want your own perfume label. You want your own record label. Okay, you're going to have to do a lot of more sick things. And I can't get in all that right now just because there's so much to go into. But just think that's how it happens. Anyone with a powerful voice, they get compromised. Now, again, I am as skeptical about anyone, about Donald Trump as anyone. I've looked into him in so many different ways. So everyone else, people that dig into this stuff don't want to be fooled. So we think the most obvious one, well, Donald Trump, billionaire, he must have been in on it. Well, look into him, okay? When you find out there's, he hasn't drank his entire life, hasn't done drugs, there's reasons for it. There's people that looked out for him and knew what was going to happen and kind of showed him the rope. In my opinion, right? Again, I'm always open. If someone gave something new out about Donald Trump, I would look into it. But things right now on the Netflix special that you might hear about with Epstein Island, that's already been disproven. That got brought up in 2016 by Jane Doe. In the claims weren't investigated. I'm just saying that because you're going to see all the different attacks come from all different areas that are trying to discredit him. But just know, the more heat he takes, understand, guys, you don't have to believe me. You don't have to know what I know right now, but just understand the more heat he takes, that tells you closer to what's about to be revealed. It's mind-boggling, guys. It's not even in this world. Wouldn't be in this reality. Like, it's so crazy. So crazy. Look at that. Justin Bieber and Travis Scott are openly dating. Yeah. So that's another thing about Hollywood. And if you look into that culture in itself, I feel so bad for these young children. It's like they're literally left to be preyed on by the vultures at parties. They get these young children. It doesn't matter. They're younger than 10. Guys, way worse. But let's just say a young up-and-comer, Justin Bieber, when he was like super young. They get these guys at parties. They tell the parents, hey, if you want to be a part of this business, you got to participate. You got to show your face at the parties, all that stuff. They give these young kids alcohol, all that drugs, all that stuff when they're young, 10, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's the Hollywood. It's that was the climate. That was the environment. And you get these young kids at really early to be preyed on by these vultures. And you wonder why every single celebrity kid that was like a celebrity star, you look at now and you go, oh, they all turned to drugs. It's like, again, the explanation I used to get for that was, well, think about the fame, how hard it would be to grow up trying to live your life when you have the fame, right? That's a great first block for everyone to go, oh, that makes sense. It would be hard. I bet you I couldn't handle it. That's why they're crazy. It's like, no, if you understood that these children are being molested and raped, and I say it exactly like I say it. I'm not going to mince my words. Disgustingly, okay? Disgustingly. When you hear about Bob Saget, or whatever you say his name, on Full House, and how he used to talk about the Olsen twins when they were children, like the behind-the-scenes stuff, you'll never see the stuff right out mainstream, the PR team that spins it all. You hear about the disgusting things he was talking about with the Olsen twins when they were girls, and it's just part of the culture. So they literally prey on these kids, and then these kids from a young age are infiltrated in this. They're not going to want to come out to anyone. No one will believe them. They have the oh my God, I feel so bad. Think of how insane these people would go. Like, think about that. Think about Miley Cyrus. She has a paparazzi in front of her. She's got thousands and thousands and thousands of fans, but she cannot tell anyone. She has all this fame. Everyone knows about her life except for the most horrendous parts of it, that she's being abused and raped at every single party by adults that she should trust, right? Think about that. And she can't say a thing to anyone. She can't say. There's been people that have tried. You know what happens to them? They go to the psych department. Shia LaBeouf, like a lot of people, right? I'm just telling you how sick it is. So I have such a different, I guess, empathy for childhood stars, especially if they grew up in the Mickey Mouse Club. So satanic. Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, all those people, Christina Aguilera, to know what was done to them growing up. All those childhood stars, man, my heart hurts from. It doesn't excuse what they in return end up doing, because they a lot of times continue this lifestyle because that's what they grew up in. But the fact that no one was there for them just breaks my heart, man. So that's when I say, man, I don't care what side you're on. When you understand what's going on and you understand the things they're doing to children, there's sides don't matter. You just realize they're literally trying to divide us from what's been going on. Because if we were these protests in the streets, if people knew what these elite people were doing to the children, this is the type of riot. And I would actually go, to those people, you need to destroy their property, these elites, right? Those are the people that our anger should be directed towards. But what they have cleverly done is they've made us as people against each other. Oh, you're a Republican, I'm a Democrat, I don't like you. Oh, you're a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I don't like you. Oh, I'm a man going my own way, you're a woman, you're useless. Oh, I'm a woman, I don't need no man. I need a man like a fish needs a bicycle. Okay, you have all of these things and we're all divided, and what they've done is they've covered up who we should all be united against. And that to me is why I just hate to see all of this division that we see. And this is why when I tell you guys, when I go, hey, I don't believe that women are inherently evil. There's not a bone in my body that believes that. I wouldn't like to live that way. I see the agenda and the propaganda, and I understand that right now there's no reason. It's a toxic environment to commit or to, get married in this environment. But I understand why. These people have plotted us. They've been doing experiments on us for so long. They know exactly how to get women to literally walk around with this attitude. They know exactly how to do it. So that's why I say, dang, if all of this gets restarted, who knows what will happen? Because if something happens, I'm not going to sit here and just keep preaching my same. If things change, I'm going to adapt to the information and then give advice as I see it. But things are changing. I just don't know what that will look like specifically in the dating marriage scene. But worldwide, dude, these people are disgusting. I'm fired up, man. And the fact, I just hate to see us divided when everybody would get behind. Everybody, they would take that hate that they have for Trump, direct it towards George Soros. Direct it towards, man, just like the Rothschilds. Direct it towards the Bilderbergs. Like direct it towards Zuckerberg. Direct it towards all of these elites that have been putting this show on. Oh man, it's so sad, man. People shouldn't be working. The new life, okay? The thing that should happen is that we should not be taxed nearly the same. It should be the point where people work so much less hours, right? When not everything's corrupt, when you're not putting all your tax money into all these organizations that they claim are good, like donating to the Red Cross and donating blood. Just if you knew what they used that blood for. Oh man, another rabbit hole itself. But all of these things that we pay to and donate to and all that stuff, if we understood how corrupt it is, it's like we would have a lot more money in our pockets, and then people wouldn't have to slave over work. That shouldn't be their whole life. That should never be someone's life. That should be a means to be able to live, versus a lot of people literally have to work to the bone just to live. That's not how it should be. And I'm not a socialist by any means. Do not ever get that complete. Not by any means. But as far as things that are being done to us right now, like the world could be such a better place. And it will be a better place. But people got to wake up. People have got to wake up. Just so sad right now what's going on. Yeah, dude. Imagine if our population knew all about this as we know. Exactly. And that's why I can't keep my mouth shut. I understand. I get people when I post something on Instagram, like a Trump something, or, people are like, you just lost a follower. Stupid move. It's like, I don't care. I don't care. I cannot sit here and not tell you what I believe is real. I cannot do that with good conscience. And so, yeah, maybe I didn't plan on getting here, but once we start talking about it, I can't give you minced words about something like that. It's just not how I will live my life. They're all a scam. I know. I used to feel so bad, like when I'd go up in the grocery store and I'd be like, do you want to donate $1 to blah, blah, blah? Do you want to donate $1 to the children's hospital? It's like, I used to always be like, yeah, heck yeah, why not? And now it's like, wait a second. No. I would rather give that dollar for sure to a homeless man on the side of the street, because I actually see where that dollar is going. And I'm not saying this is like you shouldn't donate to, programs or operations or whatever, but it's like the ones that we get told to donate to, the mainstream ones, those are ones that are the corrupt ones. So if you have like a local buddy or, a local thing you want to do and you actually know and it's like a good thing, or your friend started, that's totally different than the ones that they set up for us. Totally different. Yeah. Look at this. Okay, here's something so funny, guys. So funny. Joe Biden, guys. Joe Biden. By the way, if you don't think the George Floyd thing happened at an interesting time, Joe Biden basically lost the entire black population, which the Democrats need for the vote, by the whole you ain't black if you don't vote for me. If you vote for Trump, you ain't black, right? He said that, right? We probably already knew that, right? Isn't that interesting? That all of a sudden it was huge news, and all of a sudden now there's a race war. And you know what? Joe Biden just went to George Floyd's ceremony. Okay, Joe Biden pledged that in the first 100 days of his office, if he gets elected, he will do more to change systematic racism than ever before. And you go, wait a second, Joe Biden. Wait a second, Joe Biden. Didn't you spend 43 years with the ability to change something about systemic racism, as you're calling it? Didn't you have 43 years to do? Didn't you have 8 years with a black president? You were the vice president? But yet you're pledging now that the first 100, and people gobble it up, guys. People gobble that up and they go, oh yeah, Joe Biden, I'm going to vote for him because he cares. You didn't hear 4 days ago when he said, if you vote for Trump, you ain't black. You don't, it's like, that's the type of stuff that when you start to see the dot, and you look at these separate dots and you connect them, it's like the coolest thing is, okay, right? We have guys us sitting here going from a blue-pilled man to a red-pilled man. And what I love so much about that is that when a blue-pilled man sees the light and he tells his story, he's like, guys, I was such a blue-pilled man. I can't believe I used to do that. And you see all the comments from red-pilled guys. They're like, dude, we're happy to have you. We've all been there. That's the story. Guys, I'm telling you, I've never been a lifelong Republican by any means. I was always, tell me about the issues, tell me what they're standing for, and I'll make my own decision. I never consider myself one part or the other. But when people say, man, I was a Democrat and then I saw the light because of blah, 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 and you see how openly people just welcome, hey, we get it. We were there too, right? I'm saying people that go, I was so anti-Trump. And now that I opened up my mind to go, wait, why is he a Nazi? Why is he Hitler? And then I dug in and you go, oh my gosh, now I'm the crazy one. All of my friends and family have disowned me and they think I'm crazy. They think I'm a racist, and they literally start to see the matrix within the matrix, right? Red pill, blue pill, there's a matrix within that with women. But now you go to the actual social issues, another red pill. From blue pill to red pill is when you get ruled by your emotions versus you sit back and you go, wait a second, and you think logically, just like we have to do with women. Same thing, same idea. Really just step back, look at it, look at the facts. Okay, is this really true? And when you see a couple discrepancies and you hear fake news and you go, that was fake news, and then you start to look at all news with a different lens and you go, that's what they're saying. Just like you guys said, or one of the comments said with women, is what they say, do the opposite. It's basically like that if you think of the mainstream media. What they say, think about the opposite. In a similar idea, right? And it's oh, and then you start to see how funny it is. You just like us guys look at a simp and him telling his story, or a white knight about how much, and you see his mindset and you laugh at it and you go, oh God, I remember thinking that. That is exactly the same transition when you red pill yourself on this other lens. And then you look at everything going on, you go, oh my gosh, just like you guys would get called a misogynist or a sexist by your blue pill friends if you told them the truth of as you know it about women, right? Just like you would be called a misogynist or a sexist and you just know it. So you're like, okay, I'm not going to bother. That is the same with the social issues where it's like, wow, if I say I support Trump, everyone's going to look at me like I'm a racist. They're going to think I hate Mexicans. They're going to think I hate women. They're going to think I blah, blah, blah. It's right. Same idea. But again, once you know the truth, it's like you can't just swallow the blue pill again. Right? Us guys, a lot of times we're like, dang, can I take the blue pill? Can I rent a blue pill for a night? Can I rent a blue pill and I can go on a date with a girl and just pretend like maybe we'll live happily ever after? Just so I can have some of that fun again. Like that wondering. Guys want to rent a blue pill? It's kind of the same way on any issue. When you see the red pill, as much as you go, dang, this is tough. Now that I see the truth, I can't buy into all this propaganda. I just can't. Even though all my friends are doing it. All my friends are having so much fun out there in the protests and the riots. Man, it's like once you see the truth for what it is, it's like you can't swallow it back up. So then you just have to sit here and either educate other people on it or just wait for them to wake up and like be there for them, coddle them in as they, come across. And you just try to do the best you can with where they're at. It's the same idea, just a different arena, avenue. Yeah. Red and blue pill feels like a bunch of loser playing with gems. It's a good way to describe it. I think everyone gets the reference. Red pill, blue pill. Yeah, I know. Why should men be upfront and honest with women? Women are never that way with men. The same way that you can sit here and like laugh and go, wait a second, they say one thing and other. It's the exact same way when you see the propaganda that we're fed politically or socially. You can pick apart so many different stats. Just like with feminists, if they argue with you about women's issues and you go, oh, if you've looked into it and you go, oh, dang, oh, my mouth is watering. I have an entire deck of cards up my sleeve with actual statistics about how wrong. And I know what feminists are going to come at me with. I know they're going to say the pay gap. I know they're going to say the blah, blah, blah. I know they're going to say the blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, oh, I'm just sitting here like looking over like my meal, just licking my lips. I got a whole deck of cards up my sleeve that I'm just waiting to just go, boom, everything you say, guess what? I got a counter to it. Everything you say, I got a counter to it. Oh, here's facts. Boom, swallow the facts. Boom. But just like you know how well that goes over with a blue-pilled person or a woman, that's the same way in this other avenue with red pill, blue pill. You could sit here and show, you'll see all the discrepancies. You go, but wait a second. Joe Biden just mentioned the you ain't black thing, and now he's doing this. It's like, and you go, oh, they're going to see it. They're going to see the logic. And then you're surprised time and time again. They didn't see the logic. Same thing when dealing with women is other issues. New level, new devil. It's different places, same faces. Wait. Same faces, different places. Maybe that works better. I know, you can never turn off the red pill, man. It's too hard. I can't. Oh, man. All right, guys. This went so much longer than I planned. So much longer. I'm doing a quick little check here on the comments just to see if there's anything that pops out to me. But I would recommend, and I tell everyone, don't ever take my word for anything. Never. Don't take my word for anything. Okay? But I'm just going to tell you, I've done what I feel is an extremely good job of researching when I tell you something like this. So if it's different than what you've heard before, at least let it be an opening and go into your own research with an open mind. Because if you go in for a closed mind expecting to find something that you want to hear, it's just like any blue-pilled man that goes, dang, I don't want to hear about hypergamy. I want to hear about something real. And he comes across Georgia Free's video and he goes, oh, phew, I found a girl that actually sees that I shouldn't play games. So there is hope, right? It's kind of the same way. When what you go looking for, you'll find. So at least have an open mind is my only thing, and then do whatever you want with that. But the quicker we wake people up, man. Again, I've already been cool with the idea that I will be a single, a bachelor, as you call it, right? My whole life, I'm cool with that. But like, to me, a bigger important issue is what's literally going on right now with the children and humanity. That is what I care about far more than I've already gone, okay, I get men and women's issues. I need to wake people up to this. I need to wake guys up to this because that's a big deal for an individual life. But as far as humanity, this thing is so much bigger. Oh my gosh, man, because that changes so much. If all of that was exposed, then who knows what happens when we don't have corrupt people in charge of everything. Do you think that people will get away with corrupt courts? Do you think when more men go, no, this is totally biased courts, I will not sign up for it? Do you think if we actually had, because right now we have corrupt judges in like all the highest places so that the criminals can get off. They know each other. They're in each other's pockets. They have compromising stuff on all the judges for the most part, right? So the same idea is, right? If all these judges get cleaned out and you have non-corrupt judges, then when guys come with their problems, it won't be as ignored. And if it is, it doesn't, because guys will just go. Like me, I'll be like, I'm going to tell every single man I ever run into the dangers of marriage and to never do it until you change something. And guess what? Humanity will suffer because of that. If you don't look into this right now, and I know that there's been men's rights activists that have been saying this for a long time. And so if I come in here like this, like all hyped up, yeah, I get they're like, okay, I felt that way the same way. I know the same thing. When I came into public education, I was like, I'm going to change this thing. I'm going to take down the brick by brick. I'm going to redo public education. You look around, you're like, no one else feels this way? You guys are cool with the way things are run? God, I can't battle the whole system. So I know a lot of guys look at it in that way, that pessimistic way, which I understand. But I would lay this fact out to you again. Think about what's going on in the world right now. That has not happened before. What we are seeing right now has never happened before. So that should at least open you up to the idea that there is potential room to change. And when you have that idea, then you dig in, you go, oh, dang. We have been, no wonder things are so backwards, right? No guy should really grow up going, wow, that's crazy that I just have to spend my entire life away from women. It doesn't make sense. How did we get here? It wouldn't make sense. But that is the logical conclusion right now. But when you go, okay, logically, if I was in charge, I would never put up with any of these corrupt rules or laws or whatever. How can people do this? When you understand that our entire system has been infiltrated and the criminals have been running the top of the top, it makes so much more sense that all they want to do is divide. And in any way they can do that, that becomes a success for them. If they can take fathers out of the home and create more young men without a father that are willing or that are going to be, like forced into the jail system now, right? The stats about having a fatherless home and going to jail, huge, right? Well, private prison systems and all that stuff make money off of the amount of people that they get. So it becomes a business plan then. Well, shoot, that's good for business if we get more people in jail because corrupt people are running everything. So one area you could look at it is that it will always be the same. The other way you could look at it is, oh my gosh, what is going on in the world right now? There is things happening that are changing. I don't know when it will be, guys, but right now we are going through something that probably most of you guys could say, right? This has never happened in your lifetime, no matter how old you are. I'm 31. This has never happened in my life. A worldwide quarantine, and then days later, it went from if you have 10 people or more together, you can't go to a funeral with more than 10 people. I have two buddies. Again, maybe they got lucky. Two buddies had to reschedule their marriages because it was during the quarantine time and they weren't going to have more than 10 people come. Two different buddies, and I go, blessing in disguise. However, when it goes from you can't have more than 10 people together, and then literally days later, the mainstream media is going, hey, we support all the celebrities that were sitting at home going, you guys need to do your part and stay at home. Don't be a part of the problem. Don't, stay at home. It's for the good. We need to get through this. All of the celebrities that were saying that same thing, go look at their Twitters. And now look what they're saying. Hey, I'm donating, $1 million. I'm donating $100,000 to any of the protesters. What they mean is the rioters. The rioters, the ones that are setting stuff on fire and stealing, are getting arrested for bailout. So the same people that were trying to lecture you and say, stay home, these celebrities. Now you see what they're saying? Hey, go out and protest, and I'm going to pay out your bail if you get arrested. Isn't that interesting? Doesn't anyone stop and go, that's weird. I was just not allowed to go and sit down with my buddies at a bar and drink a beer and watch a football game because of this viral disease. And now I'm being encouraged to go out and protest with thousands upon thousands of people in the streets all around me. Does it not make anyone else go, interesting? Maybe there's something else there? Like, that's, man. All right, guys, I gotta get off, man. I just blacked out for a minute. I just blacked out, and I couldn't help myself. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, hey. Well, good to know, guys. Hey, I know people need to know, man. I care about humanity. I don't want humanity to suffer. I don't want humanity to die. And what's going on right now is just crazy interesting. Oh, man. But yeah, I would say look into it, guys, on your own, especially if you're not convinced. I don't expect anybody to be convinced. I understand what media people have to combat against. I understand that when you Google things, they put up the top, they control the algorithms. So yeah, look at Google page 7 or 8 if you actually want something real with real information, because they put up their buddies and all the crap fake news stuff on the top. Oh, I did see a super chat here from Jay Rodriguez. He said, a lot of blacks and Latinos support Trump, including me. Amen, man. Amen. I love that. See, and I love you even saying support Trump, right? Again, I'm not sitting here going, I'm a Republican. No, I'm supporting Trump. What Trump is doing is he's, in my opinion, he has the balls to weed out the evil and the corruption. I don't care about left versus right. I don't care Democrat versus Republican. I don't care. I will never blindly vote a party just because that's what I was raised with. But man, it has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with, do you love America? Do you like America? Do you like the freedoms we have? Because that, to me, is exactly what Trump is fighting for. And as simple as it sounds, make America great again. But it's good to know this, guys. And I see more and more people wake up. It's awesome. I love to see that. I love to see that. So I have good feelings about humanity. I know we're going through what you call a dark time right now, but the people that have been researching this for you guys, I have nonstop researched this since 2016, because every day somebody calls me or they make fun around my area. Somebody will say something about, Trump or being an imbecile or what a crappy leader, what a crybaby, oh, this little dictator. They'll say all these things. And since 2016, I've had to just sit there and be like, okay, you're saying this. It's kind of making me doubt myself. So I'm going to go dig in for a bunch more hours of research to make sure Trump is doing what I think he's doing. Boom, dig in. Wow, he's doing everything that I would want in a president. Man, we're so lucky to have him. Go back out to the media or go back out to regular people. Oh, I can't believe him. Look at this. He hates people. He's a racist. He's taking over the world. Dig back in. Makes me a little self-conscious. I gotta make sure I'm not wrong about this. Dig back in. Nope. Just like I knew before. Wow, everything he's doing, dismantling people that were in charge. Everyone that has been in office for many, many years, the corrupt politicians, are getting angry at him. Why? Weird. Why? The media that used to adore him when he was on The Apprentice hates him now. Weird. Why? I don't get it. Why? Oh, interesting. So, oh boy, guys. We started with dating advice for men from a woman, and we went to some rabbit holes. But guys, I really am interested in what you guys have to say about it. Who knows what will come up next live stream. But there's a bigger truth. When they say that, have you guys ever heard truth is stranger than fiction? There's a whole nother layer to that when you go, oh my gosh, truth is actually stranger than fiction. It's stranger than fiction. When you see all the fiction movies, we're like, whoa, what an interesting imagination, like Hostel. How could someone ever in their right mind think of the sick things you do to torture other humans? And you go, wait a second, that's a fiction movie. That's actually real life about what a lot of these sick people do for a lot of reasons. Look into adrenochrome and sacrifices all these other weird, disgusting things, satanic ritual abuse, MK Ultra, really disgusting things. You go, is that person really creative, or are they just sick in the mind and they've seen some things? And you go, dang, the truth is stranger than fiction. All of the movies that you see, the Purge movies, you don't think that those were predictive programming for right now, creating a race war and anarchy? The Purge movies, did you guys hear in New York, one of the streets, they had the Purge music blasting, and there's just anarchy there. And it was like, this thing came up on the intercom. It was like, welcome to your new founding fathers. Look around you. Here are the new founding fathers of your new, of the revolution. It's like, dude, it's like the Purge. They predictive programming. They set this all up to get the people that are emotional at the right time. And this is when they're playing that trump card. No pun intended. They're playing that card right now of, hey, let's cause total anarchy, because they're getting close to taking these people down. They're going to their last resorts. That's why it's so crazy right now. So it might get a little bit crazier before it gets better. It might get a little bit, but just understand this is like one of their last resorts that they can pull. I mean, they're delivering bricks. They're delivering cement blocks all over the cities that people are rioting in or protesting in. Just delivering these blocks. Like, look it up. Cement blocks, bricks, all here. And local citizens are like, that wasn't here a few weeks ago. Why is that here now? Oh, because when darkness happens and the protests turn into riots, you got these bricks that they can just throw in and cause anarchy, and then they're going to blame it on Trump. Look how divided we are under Trump, because he's a racist. This is why we're divided, right? That's going to be the mainstream narrative that you're going to hear. You're going to hear Trump can't keep the nation under control when you realize, if you look into his executive powers, what he's allowed to do and what the actual mayors and the governors of the cities are allowed to do. They're going to play that onto the people that don't actually understand the responsibilities that the president has, and they're going to make people go, I can't believe Trump let my town get looted. That's going to be how they play it for some people. Then the people that go, whoa, man, Trump stepped in with the National Guard. They're going to go, he's a dictator. He's trying to create martial law, and he's trying to take over, and he's going to take out an entire race of people, right? They're going to spin it either way. So just be careful. That's what I'm going to say. All right, I got to leave you with that, guys. All right, I got to get off here, because I will start talking I could talk about this, what we're talking about, for 100 hours straight, the different rabbit holes and loopholes and how they all connect. But just know what's going down. There's been people awake far longer than me. People that have been awake. Like, I can't imagine the people that have been awake for 20 years or something. 10 years even, and they had to sit by and watch what was happening to our country, and they're going, oh my God, we're screwed. We are screwed. And no one would listen to them. I feel so bad for those people. That would be the crazy. There's a guy, and he's in his young 20s. His name is Dylan Wheeler. His on Instagram is Education for Liberals. Educating liberals is his thing. Like, that's his name. Okay. That guy has such a fascinating story. He was awake in 2012, and he was seeing everything that was playing out, and he was telling everybody about it, all of his friends and family, and they were they were so scared because they thought he was crazy. He was seeing it before anyone else, which again, I can't even imagine how you would have to feel, because when I went through these rabbit holes, I was like, is there any hope for humanity? And then luckily Trump and QAnon came out, and I learned about what's going on. But he was awake way before a lot of people, and other people were awake before that, but he was told by his friends and family he's crazy. His friends and family committed him to a psychiatric hospital 3 different times. 3 different times. He had to go to a psych ward. Imagine that. Imagine me knowing my views. People, if I had the views I have now in 2012, people around me would think I'm crazy. Can you imagine your friends and family putting you in a psych ward, and he was, 18 or 19 or something at the time. And he was literally seeing the truth, and no one else saw it, and they thought he was crazy because he couldn't hold the truth in. He had to tell everyone on Facebook. 3 different times he had to go to psych wards where he would say they would like basically inject him with basically vaccines to make him think like a zombie almost. And so he had that 3 different experiences. He came out and he was okay for a while, and then once he was off all that crazy meds and the vaccines they're doing, his truth kept coming up and he couldn't help it. He would dig back in and he'd be like, guys, I see it. And he would explain it to people. Back into the mental hospital. 3 times this guy did that. And now he's one of these big faces where like on Instagram or Twitter, his Twitter got deleted. So he has a different name and I don't know. He's not telling people because he doesn't want to get deleted. But on Instagram, Education for Liberals. His name's Dylan Wheeler. If you look on YouTube, he's done some interviews about it. Dude, fascinating story because he's in his young 20s. He's a Vikings fan. Shout out the Vikings. But he's exposing these truths. And I can't even imagine. I don't know if I could ever forgive my friends and family if they literally were like committing me to a mental hospital. But he saw the truth. And like it's coming out now. But you guys don't want to be one of those guys that is on the wrong side of this truth. You don't want to be one of those guys that you look back at your Facebook and you see how hateful you were towards the person that was trying to bring about, and even if you're not in America, setting an example to try to bring about change for the world. And I know that sounds cliche and crazy, and I wouldn't say that to you if I wasn't 100% confident in that. But guys, you don't want to be on the wrong side of this. I've been screenshotting my buddies that have been really like infused with the TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome, and posting stuff, and I'm like screenshotting. I'm like, man, I don't know when, but they're not going to want to see that again in the future when they realize what's really going on. It's like, I can't imagine what this man has put up with for people that he didn't need to do this to. Trump has been a rich man. He's been wealthy. He could have done anything with his life. He was loved by the media after leaving The Apprentice. He could have spent his time with his family, his friends. He could have golfed. Yet he decided with no salary, he's not taking a salary, guys. He decided to do this because of what America's done for him. And he couldn't sit around and allow what he saw, America crumbling, on his watch. And he had the balls and the money that no outside influence could actually pay him off to try to sway him on an agenda. That is why he decided to do it. And I can't imagine someone like him knowing exactly what he's doing for the good of humanity in America and having to deal with so many people that literally say it would be better if Trump was dead right now. So many people have that thought, and it's insanity. If they knew what he was doing, like, I don't even know how these people are going to react. I don't know if the people that have been so anti him, because this stuff will be exposed, guys. There's no doubt about this. This is going to come out. And when it does, I'm so curious if all of the people that have blindly believed everything they've been told about him, if they're going to go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I was brainwashed. Or if it's just going to be like, they don't even realize it happened and they're just living in this new era and they're like, wow, Trump's a good guy. Like, that's what I'm really curious about. If people are going to discern where they were and where they are now, or if it's going to slowly just happen and they're just going to slowly start to like him and they're not going to realize how much, they hated him before. Excuse me. That's what I'm super interested in. But guys, I'm telling you, you want to be ahead of the game. You want to be a pioneer on this, and you want to set an example for your friends. Like, look into what he's doing. Buy in yourself. I have a whole list of like YouTube channels that you could watch that are actually really informative, not the fake news crap. It's hard to find these days because they get shadow banned. That's why they don't want the truth to be out there. But I'm telling you guys, you won't regret it. When you dig in the truth, you'll feel so hopeful about what's going on. You won't have this blood boiling. You'll realize that the biggest fear these elites have, the biggest fear they have in the world is us, man and woman, us. Doesn't matter what your skin color is. Us, it doesn't matter your social economic status. If we get together and unite, that's the scariest thing for them. The elites. All they want to do is divide, man. That's all they want to do. And if we unite and we start to point this out and we can start to see this, then we can rebuild the system. Then we can really separate these other issues that are separating us in between genders or races or socioeconomic status. But right now, man, got to take back America. And then when all this corruption's out, let's really like rebuild it into the right way. I mean, I know it sounds all, cheerleader-ish, but Do I think Donald Trump is an intellectual? It's I like that question. Okay. Most people call him a buffoon. He's a buffoon. He uses simple words. All right. There's so much to this. First, I would say look up old Donald Trump interviews. I'm talking from, the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Just listen to his interviews and listen what he talks about and what he speaks about. And just listen to his policies. You go, oh my gosh, this guy's very intelligent. If you listen to his old interviews, it's so funny. Now, if you listen to more of his new stuff, now again, I watch his rallies. I listen to a lot of the stuff he does, and I know how he talks. But just like his slogan, "Make America Great Again," was so smart because it didn't muddy the waters. It made not everybody was able to dig in and figure out what he's actually doing. So it's a simple term that you repeat it enough. Repetition, make America great again. It's something that you can stand by. Versus Hillary Clinton, her slogan at the time was, "I'm with her." So if you think of make America great again versus I'm with her, it's a simple, easy to repeat. So he did that to get a bunch of people on board, whether they dug into what he's really doing or if they're just like, hey, I'm sick of the way things are going in America. I want some type of change. I want a non-politician. So in that same way, I honestly believe he's a complete genius because he knows how to talk to make normal people understand him. He knows how to take his words. He knows how to not talk all very politically like a lot of people. He knows how to talk with the common person. And so to a lot of people, they can hear what he says and you hear him say like, gigantic, bigly, and he's always talking in these certain words and people can make fun of that. To me, it's absolute genius. He's literally sticking to what people are going to understand without needing to dig into all this other stuff. And he's talking to the common people where all these other politicians are talking above people's heads and this policy and that policy, and most average people don't understand. So they're just like, that sounds smart. He's talking to the common people. But if you listen to all of his earlier interviews, you'll go, oh man, this guy, he's intelligent. So yeah, I believe he's incredibly intelligent. But again, that's going to sound biased until you do your own research. It really will. I know, because a lot of people, this is so funny. I actually didn't, man, I keep saying I'm going to go. I didn't know this was a thing. One of my buddies posted that I just saw in person. He's from California. He came back to be with his parents during this like COVID thing. So we went golfing. And I hadn't talked to him, and he's been in California for a while, so I kind of knew where his mind was going to be. And so he posted something on his Facebook like after we were golfing. I was like, okay, he seems pretty reasonable. We're golfing. So, like the day or two later, he posted this article about Trump that said, I don't understand why Trump supporters like him. He's basically the opposite of what a man should be. And it was like this totally biased article, obviously, just totally totally bashing on Trump. It wasn't even trying to be fair. So all I did is I commented on him. I just said, I did a little like happy emoticon, and then I said TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. That's all I said. I don't normally pick fights with people because I know where it's going to go online, but I just literally said that, boom, TDS, because it was like, you've got to be so far angry to post an article like this and actually look at it like it's any sort of bias. It was just a complete article like making fun of Trump for things that you can't make. It just was nonsense. So I said TDS. I didn't know, and I'm glad I'm aware of this, that apparently TDS is not only something that Trump supporters laugh about, like, oh, that person has TDF. People on the other side, maybe you guys didn't know this, and I don't want this is why I'm bringing this up, because I didn't realize people would go, Adam, you have TDS because you have Trump Derangement Syndrome. You think, like the way he talks is genius. You're seeing him, and you're seeing him in that derangement syndrome thing. You're not seeing reality. I didn't know that people use that on the other side. That was interesting to me. I didn't know that, but that's a good point. So that's why I try to say, like, when I say, yeah, I believe he's a genius, I say do your own research, because I don't want you to think that I just, mindlessly believe that. I believe it because of everything I've been researching. But I had to make that point just because TDS I didn't realize goes both ways. But it's interesting. I see why they say that. But all right, guys. Okay, human trafficking. Yeah, man, I know that's the biggest thing, human trafficking, man. Donate some to the orphanage. Yeah, like I would say this, for instance, right now, people that follow Trump are a little bit worried when he says stuff about the vaccine for, COVID. Because like me, dude, I've looked into a lot of vaccine. And by the way, if you guys think, see, I don't have a problem if people think somebody that's, like if someone thinks differently, like if I say like, dude, I wouldn't vax my children. I don't mind if someone goes, well, that's weird. I'm going to do my own thing. I don't need everyone else to do what I do. But when you look into the fact that, did you know that vaccination companies cannot be sued? They cannot be held for any, if you get your children vaccinated and they have some type of defect or symptom because of the vaccination companies cannot be sued for that. That's one of their, it's just like the social media companies had this special like regulation that they weren't considered a publisher, so they were allowed to have all news on, so they couldn't be sued from people like talking hate speech on their, on their social media. That was a special thing that the social media companies had. But since now social media companies are censoring all sorts of people, they censor MGTOW stuff, they censor all this stuff. Once they have become playing into the agenda, they're no longer a neutral publisher. So that's why Trump just got the whole social media act going, where now social media companies can be sued if they're acting as a publisher. Like that's different. You can't just say you're neutral and then censor some people and not censor others. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff, but like that's one of the reasons why Trump will say stuff like, yeah, we're going to have to take some research on the vaccines because the big pharma companies make so much money off vaccines. He has to play into enough of the mainstream, because a lot of people go, even like people that might be Trump supporters are like, well, yeah, I would vax my kids, right? I'm not going to judge anyone for whatever, but you can't be too crazy. You still got to get the majority with you. So he says something about vaccines, but then he brings up, hydroxychloroquine. So then he brings up a natural supplement too. So he plays the game, but then he like tells the people that are really like looking into it, and he's like, but hydroxychloroquine, boom, boom, boom. And that's like the non-vaccine version for the people that are looking into it. So yeah, but totally true. All right, guys, I gotta go. I'm logging off right now in 3, 2, 1. I love you all, but I will keep talking about this. So I just gotta go. I can't believe this is 3 hours already. All right, see you guys.